Imagine, if you will, that your current reality, every aspect of your life as you know it, is nothing more than a reflection of your inner world. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your assumptions about yourself and the world around you. These are the architects of your experience. And just as a mirror faithfully reflects the image before it, so too does your outer world reflect the state of your inner being. But here's the magnificent truth that I want you to grasp with every fiber of your being. You are not a passive observer in this grand play of life. You are the author, the director, and the lead actor in your own magnificent story. The power to shift your energy, to transform your reality, lies dormant within you at this very moment, waiting to be awakened. Now, let us delve deeper into the nature of this energy shift. It is not something external to you, not some mystical force that you must seek outside yourself. No, this shift occurs within the depths of your consciousness. It is a fundamental change in your perception, in your understanding of who you truly are and what you're capable of achieving. Consider for a moment the many states of consciousness you experience throughout your day. You move from wakefulness to sleep, from joy to sorrow, from confidence to doubt. Each of these states carries its own unique energy, its own vibrational frequency. And it is this energy that shapes your experience of reality. The key to transforming your reality lies in your ability to consciously choose and maintain the energy state that aligns with your desires. This, my friends, is the essence of the energy shift we speak of tonight. It is the art of aligning your inner state with the reality you wish to experience. Now, you might be wondering, how do I achieve this energy shift? How do I align my inner state with my desired reality? The answer, as always, lies in the power of your imagination. For it is through your imagination that you can step into the energy of your desired state, feeling it as real and present now. Imagine, if you will, that your desire has already been fulfilled. See it, feel it, taste it, touch it in your mind's eye. Allow every sense to be saturated with the reality of your fulfilled desire. This, my dear friends, is not mere daydreaming or wishful thinking. This is the active, conscious use of your imagination to shift your energy into alignment with your desire. As you engage in this practice, you'll begin to notice a subtle but profound change in your being. The energy of lack, of wanting, of striving begins to dissolve, replaced by a deep sense of fulfillment, of completeness. This is the energy shift in action, transforming your inner world and, by extension, your outer reality. But let me caution you, this is not a practice to be undertaken lightly or haphazardly. It requires dedication, persistence, and above all, faith. Faith not in some external power, but in the power of your own imagination to shape your reality. For as you sow in your imagination, so shall you reap in your experience. Now, let us explore the mechanics of this energy shift in greater detail. Understand that every thought you think, every emotion you feel, carries its own unique vibrational frequency. These vibrations ripple out into the universe, attracting experiences and circumstances that match their frequency. This is the fundamental law of attraction at work, the principle that like attracts like. When you exist in a state of lack, of wanting, of striving, you emit a frequency that attracts more of the same. You perpetuate the very circumstances you wish to change. But when you shift your energy to one of fulfillment, of abundance, of joy, you begin to attract experiences that match this new frequency. This is why it's crucial to guard the door of your mind, to be vigilant about the thoughts you entertain and the emotions you cultivate. Every moment of your day is an opportunity to choose your energy state, to align yourself with the reality you desire to experience. But how, you might ask, can one maintain this energy shift in the face of contrary evidence? When the world around you seems to contradict your inner knowing, how do you hold fast to your desired state? This, my friends, is where the true test of your faith comes in. Remember, the world you see around you is nothing more than a shadow, a reflection of past thoughts and beliefs. It is not the cause of your experience, but the effect. As you persist in your new state, as you continue to feed your mind with the thoughts and feelings of your desire fulfilled, the outer world has no choice but to conform to this new inner reality. This is the true meaning of living in the end. It is not about waiting for your desire to manifest before you can feel fulfilled. It is about stepping into the energy of fulfillment now, regardless of outer circumstances. For when you do this, when you truly embody the energy of your desire fulfilled, you set in motion the forces that will bring about its physical manifestation. Now let us address a common misconception. Many believe that this energy shift requires constant effort, a perpetual state of doing, but the truth is quite the opposite. The energy shift we speak of is not about doing, but about being. It's about relaxing into the state of your wish fulfilled, allowing it to permeate your entire being. Think of it as tuning a radio. You don't struggle and strain to pick up a particular frequency. You simply turn the dial until you find the station you want, and then you relax and enjoy the broadcast. Similarly, you use your imagination to tune into the frequency of your desire fulfilled. Then you relax into that state, allowing it to play out in your experience. This state of relaxed awareness, of knowing that your desire is already yours, is the most powerful state you can cultivate. It is from this state that true miracles unfold. For when you are relaxed and confident in the reality of your desire, you open yourself to inspired action, to divine timing, to the perfect unfolding of events that will bring your desire into physical form. But let me be clear, this is not about passivity or inaction. The energy shift we speak of does not negate the need for action in the physical world. Rather, it transforms the nature of that action. Instead of action born of struggle and striving, you engage in inspired action, action that flows naturally from your new state of being. When you have truly shifted your energy, when you are living from the state of your desire fulfilled, you'll find that the right actions present themselves effortlessly. Opportunities will arise, doors will open, and you'll be guided to take the perfect steps to bring your desire into physical manifestation. Now let us delve deeper into the practical application of this energy shift. How do you maintain this new state in the face of daily challenges and distractions? The key lies in developing a new habit of mind, a new way of perceiving and interpreting your experiences. Begin by setting aside time each day for conscious imagination. This is not mere visualization, but a full sensory experience in your mind. See your desire fulfilled. Feel the emotions associated with it. Hear the congratulations of others. Touch and taste and smell the reality of your fulfilled desire. Make this imaginal act so vivid, so real, that when you open your eyes, the physical world seems pale in comparison. As you go about your day, carry this feeling with you. Let it color your perceptions, influence your reactions. When challenges arise, and they will, for that is the nature of life, remind yourself that these are merely shadows of old energy patterns. They have no power over your new state unless you give it to them. Practice the art of revision. At the end of each day, replay events in your imagination, not as they occurred, but as you would have wished them to occur. This is not about denying reality, but about exercising your power to choose which version of events you energize and perpetuate. Remember, every moment is a new opportunity to shift your energy. If you find yourself slipping into old patterns of thought and emotion, gently but firmly bring yourself back to your desired state. It's not about perfection, but about persistence. Each time you choose your desired state over your habitual reactions, you strengthen the new energy pattern. As you persist in this practice, you'll begin to notice subtle changes in your outer world. Perhaps people will react to you differently. Opportunities might present themselves unexpectedly. Synchronicities may become more frequent. These are all signs that your energy shift is taking effect, that your outer world is beginning to align with your inner state. But here's a crucial point. Do not become attached to these outer manifestations. Do not use them as a measure of your success or failure. For the moment you start looking for proof in the outer world, you shift your energy back to a state of lack of needing evidence. Instead, maintain your faith in the unseen reality of your imagination. Trust in the perfect unfolding of your desire, knowing that what is imagined must by cosmic law be made manifest. Now let us address a question that often arises. What about the desires of others? What if your desire seems to conflict with someone else's? This is where many stumble in their practice, allowing doubt and guilt to creep in and disrupt their energy shift. But consider this, in the infinite abundance of the universe, there is no lack, no limitation. Your good does not come at the expense of another's. When you shift your energy to a state of fulfillment, you do not deprive others. In fact, you inspire them, you lift them up. For as you raise your own vibration, you raise the vibration of those around you. Moreover, you cannot know the innermost desires of another. What may seem like a conflict on the surface level of Genesis may, in fact, be the perfect unfolding for all involved. Your task is not to manipulate others or to force outcomes, but to remain faithful to your own inner knowing, your own energy shift. This brings us to another important aspect of the energy shift, detachment from the how. Many become frustrated when their desire doesn't manifest in the exact way or time frame they expected. But this frustration, this attachment to a particular outcome, is itself a form of resistance that blocks the free flow of energy. Remember, the universe has infinite channels through which your desire can be fulfilled. Your task is not to figure out how it will happen, but to maintain the energy of it already being done. As you relax into this knowing, as you detach from the need to control the process, you open yourself to miracles beyond your wildest imagination. This detachment is not indifference. It is not about not caring whether your desire manifests or not. Rather, it is a deep trust in the perfect unfolding of your desire, coupled with a willingness to be surprised and delighted by the way it comes about. It is about enjoying the journey, savoring the state of your wish fulfilled, rather than anxiously waiting for a particular outcome. Now let us address a common pitfall in this practice, the temptation to use this energy shift as a means of escape from present circumstances. Many, when they first discover this power, attempt to use it to run away from unpleasant situations or emotions. But this is a misuse of the law, and it will not yield the desired results. The energy shift we speak of is not about denial or escape. It is about transformation. It's about facing your current reality with clear eyes, acknowledging it for what it is, and then consciously choosing to shift your energy to a new state. This requires courage, for it means fully accepting where you are even as you choose to move to where you want to be. Moreover, it requires a willingness to let go of old identities, old stories about yourself and your life. For many, their current circumstances, no matter how unpleasant, have become a familiar comfort zone. The energy shift challenges you to step out of this comfort zone, to embrace a new identity, a new story. This is why persistence is so crucial in this practice. The old energy patterns, reinforced over years or even lifetimes, do not dissolve overnight. They require consistent, conscious effort to replace. But with each choice to maintain your new energy state, you weaken the old patterns and strengthen the new. As you persist in this practice, you'll begin to notice a profound shift, not just in your outer circumstances, but in your entire way of being in the world. You'll find yourself more centered, more peaceful, more confident. You'll develop a deep trust in the perfection of life's unfolding, a knowing that all is well regardless of outer appearances. This inner peace, this unshakable faith, is perhaps the greatest gift of the energy shift, for it frees you from the constant anxiety and striving that characterizes so much of human existence. It allows you to live fully in the present moment, enjoying the journey even as you move towards your desired destination. But let me caution you, this practice is not about achieving a state of perpetual bliss or eliminating all challenges from your life. Life, by its very nature, is a dynamic interplay of energies. There will always be new desires arising, new heights to reach for. The purpose of this practice is not to reach a final destination, but to master the art of conscious creation, to become a deliberate participant in the unfolding of your life. As you become more adept at this energy shift, you'll find that your desires themselves begin to change, no longer driven by lack or fear. You'll find yourself moved by inspiration, by a desire to express more of your true essence, to contribute more fully to the world around you. This is the natural evolution of consciousness, the expansion of your being that occurs as you align more fully with your true nature. Now let us address a question that often arises as one delves deeper into this practice. What about collective realities? What about global events or circumstances that seem beyond individual control? How does the energy shift apply in these situations? First, understand that collective realities are nothing more than the sum total of individual consciousness. As you shift your own energy, you contribute to the shift of the collective. Never underestimate the power of one individual holding a higher vibration. Like a tuning fork, you have the power to influence the vibration of those around you. Moreover, your experience of collective events is still filtered through your individual consciousness. Two people can experience the same external event in radically different ways depending on their inner state. By maintaining your energy shift, you can navigate even challenging collective circumstances with grace and ease. This is not about turning a blind eye to the problems of the world. It's about approaching these issues from a higher state of consciousness, from a place of solution rather than problem. As you maintain your energy shift, you become a beacon of possibility, inspiring others to rise above limiting beliefs and destructive patterns. Remember, the outer world is a reflection of inner states of consciousness. As more individuals master this energy shift, we will see profound changes in our collective reality. This is how true, lasting change occurs, not through force or struggle, but through a fundamental shift in consciousness. As we near the conclusion of our discussion, I want to emphasize a crucial point. The energy shift we've been exploring is not a technique to be used occasionally when you want something. It is a way of life, a fundamental shift in how you relate to reality itself. This shift requires a willingness to question everything you've believed about the nature of reality, about cause and effect, about the limits of what's possible. It challenges you to step fully into your power as a creative being, to take full responsibility for your experience of life. But with this responsibility comes incredible freedom. For when you truly grasp that your outer world is a reflection of your inner state, you free yourself from victimhood. You no longer need to wait for circumstances to change or for others to behave differently. You have within you right now the power to shift your energy and transform your entire experience of life. This is the promise and the challenge of the energy shift. It offers you nothing less than total freedom, total creative control over your life experience. But it also demands your full commitment, your unwavering faith, your persistent practice. As you leave here tonight, I encourage you to begin implementing this practice immediately. Don't wait for the perfect moment or for all conditions to be right. Start now in this very moment to shift your energy to the state of your wish fulfilled. Feel the reality of your desire. as if it were already accomplished. Let this feeling permeate your being, color your perceptions, guide your actions. Remember, this is not about forcing or struggling. It's about allowing, about opening yourself to the natural flow of creative energy that is your birthright. Trust in the process. Have faith in the unseen reality of your imagination, and watch in wonder as your outer world begins to align with your inner state. You are far more powerful than you've been led to believe. You are not a victim of circumstances, but the creator of your reality. The energy shift we've explored tonight is your key to unlocking this creative power, to stepping fully into your role as the author of your life story. So go forth with confidence, with joy, with an unshakable knowing that as you shift your energy, you shift your reality. Embrace this truth. Live it fully. And watch as miracles unfold in your life. For in truth, there are no limits to what you can be, do, or have when you master the art of the energy shift. Remember, your imagination is the gateway to infinite possibility. Use it wisely, reasonably. Use it with the full knowledge that what you imagine with feeling, with faith, must inevitably manifest in your experience. This is the law. This is the promise. This is the magnificent truth of your being. You are the operant power in your world. You are the one who decides what energies you will entertain, what states you will occupy. Choose wisely, choose deliberately, choose with the knowledge that every choice is a creative act shaping the very fabric of your reality. As you practice this energy shift, you'll find that life becomes an exciting adventure, a joyous exploration of your own creative power. You'll approach each day with eager anticipation, wondering what new miracles will unfold as you continue to align your energy with your desires. But remember, this is not about accumulating more possessions or achieving external markers of success. The true gift of this practice is the inner transformation it brings about. As you master the art of the energy shift, you'll discover a deep sense of peace, a profound trust in the perfection of life's unfolding. You'll find yourself moving through life with greater ease and grace, unshaken by the ups and downs that once would have thrown you off balance. This inner stability, this unshakable faith in your own creative power, is the foundation from which true miracles spring. It allows you to remain centered and focused on your desired state even when outer circumstances seem to contradict it. This is the test of your faith. And as you pass it again and again, you'll find your manifesting power growing exponentially. As you continue to practice the energy shift, you'll notice that your desires themselves begin to evolve. No longer driven by lack or fear, you'll find yourself moved by inspiration, by a desire to express more of your true essence, to contribute more fully to the world around you. This is the natural evolution of consciousness, the expansion of your being that occurs as you align more fully with your creative power. Remember, the energy shift is not a destination, but a journey. It's a continuous process of aligning your energy with your highest vision for yourself and your life. There will always be new heights to reach, new aspects of yourself to explore and express. Embrace this journey with joy and enthusiasm, knowing that each shift brings you closer to the full expression of your divine potential. In closing, I urge you to take this knowledge and apply it diligently in your life. Don't just believe these words, test them, live them, prove them to yourself through your own experience. For it is only through your own direct experience that these truths will become alive in you, transforming not just your outer circumstances, but your very being. Go forth and create, for the world is waiting for the unique expression that only you can bring. Your energy shift is not just for you, but for the entire world that will be uplifted by your transformed presence.
Have you ever felt like you're just existing, not truly living? like you're trapped in an endless cycle of routines and expectations. I want to share something profound with you today that might just change the way you see everything. You see, most people are sleepwalking through life. They wake up, follow their daily routines, and go to bed only to repeat it all again tomorrow. But what if I told you that this very moment right now is all you ever have and ever will have? I've spent decades contemplating this fascinating dance we call existence. And I've come to understand something remarkable. We're all playing a game we've forgotten is a game. We're actors who've become so absorbed in our roles that we've forgotten we're acting. I think about this. When you were a child, you knew how to live. You didn't worry about yesterday or tomorrow. You were simply here, now fully absorbed in whatever you were doing. But somewhere along the way, we lost that ability. What happened to us? We became too serious. We started believing that life was a deadly serious business. But here's the cosmic joke. The more seriously you take things, the more you miss the point of being alive. You're not a stranger in this universe. You're not something that has happened to the universe, like a cloud formation or a flutter in the breeze. You are what the whole universe is doing right here, right now, in the form of you. Let me share something that might sound strange at first. You are the universe experiencing itself. When you look out at the stars at night, you're not looking out into space, you're looking back at yourself. Most people think they're trapped in their skin, locked inside their heads, peering out at a world that's separate from them. But that's the greatest illusion. The inside and the outside are one continuous process. Think about this. When you breathe, you don't decide to breathe. It happens by itself, just like your heart beats by itself. And just as breathing isn't really under your control, neither is thinking. Thoughts come and go like clouds in the sky. Here's what most people don't understand. You can't force yourself to relax. You can't force yourself to be spontaneous. The more you try to control life, the more it slips through your fingers. The secret is to let go, but not in a passive, resigned way. Let go the way a tree lets go of its leaves in autumn, naturally, effortlessly, beautifully. You see, we're all under a kind of hypnosis. We've been hypnotized by our culture to believe that we're isolated beings, that we're separate from everything else. But it's not true. It never was. When you really understand this, something extraordinary happens. You stop fighting life. You stop trying to swim upstream. You realize that you are the stream. Most people spend their lives trying to become something. They're always reaching, always striving, never arriving. But what if you're already everything you're trying to become? Here's a peculiar thought. What if the meaning of life is nothing more than to be alive? Not to achieve, not to accomplish, not to get somewhere, just to be fully present in this eternal now. The fascinating thing about waking up to reality is that it's always right here, right under our noses. We're like fish swimming in water, constantly seeking water. We don't realize that what we're looking for is what we're looking through. You know, it's quite amusing when you think about it. We're all running around trying to find ourselves, trying to improve ourselves, trying to become better versions of ourselves. But who is this self we're trying to improve? The more you chase after happiness, the more it eludes you. It's like trying to bite your own teeth or look into your own eyes without a mirror. You can't get at it because you are it. Consider this. Every time you try to stick your finger on the present moment, it's already past. Every time you try to grab hold of life, it slips through your fingers. That's because you are life. You can't grab hold of yourself. Most people are constantly trying to control their experience. They want to hold on to the pleasant and push away the unpleasant. But that's like trying to control the ocean by grabbing at the waves. Here's something remarkable. Your life is not a journey. A journey has a destination, but life is more like music. You don't play music to get to the end of the piece. The point of playing music is to play. Think about dancing. When you dance, you don't aim to arrive at a particular spot on the floor. The whole point of dancing is the dance. Well, the same is true of life. You see, we've been taught to view life as a problem to be solved, a task to be completed. But life is not a problem, and you are not a problem to be solved. You are a mystery to be lived. Most people live as if life is a rehearsal for something that's going to happen later. But there is no later. This is it. This is the show. And you're already on stage. Consider how strange it is that we're always preparing for life instead of living it. We go to school to prepare for a career, we work to prepare for retirement. We're always getting ready for something else. But what if this moment, exactly as it is, with all its imperfections and uncertainty, is exactly what you've been preparing for? What if there's nowhere else to get to? The trouble is we've been conditioned to believe that we need to become something other than what we are. We've been told that we're not enough as we are, but that's the greatest illusion of all. You see, you can't become what you already are. You can't become alive, you are alive. You can't become conscious, you are conscious. You can't become yourself, you are yourself. Most people are trying to change themselves, but who is doing the changing? Who is trying to improve whom? It's like trying to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. Here's something profound. The you that you think needs to be fixed is not you. The you that you think needs to be improved is just a thought. The real you is the awareness in which these thoughts appear. Think about this. When you're fully present, fully alive in this moment, is anything missing? Is anything wrong? Problems only exist in thought, in our mental projections about past and future. You see, we're all playing this game of hide and seek with ourselves. We're pretending we don't know who we are. We're pretending we're separate from life. But it's all pretense. Most people think awakening is some grand mystical experience, but it's actually the simplest thing in the world. It's simply seeing what is already here, what has always been here. Consider how much energy we spend trying to be special, trying to stand out, trying to be different. But what if your ordinary, everyday experience is already the miracle you're seeking? Let me share something that might shake your understanding of reality. Every experience you've ever had, every thought, every feeling, every sensation, where did they all appear? In consciousness, in awareness, in you. You see, we've been taught to believe that we're living in the world, but the truth is that the world is living in us. Everything you experience, the sounds you hear, the sights you see, the sensations you feel, they're all appearing in your consciousness. But think about your earliest memory. Now think about what you had for breakfast today. Notice how both appear in the same space, the space of your awareness. That space hasn't aged, hasn't changed, hasn't moved. Most people identify with their thoughts and feelings, but you are not your thoughts any more than you are the clouds in the sky. You are the space in which thoughts appear and disappear. Here's something fascinating. Have you ever tried to find the thinker of your thoughts? You might assume there's a little person inside your head doing all the thinking. But when you look closely, all you find are thoughts appearing by themselves. Consider this: when you're deeply absorbed in something you love, where is your sense of self? It disappears, doesn't it? And yet, you're more alive than ever. That's because you're closest to your true nature when you forget yourself. Most people spend their lives trying to be someone, but authentic living begins when you realize you don't need to be anyone. You're already everything you could possibly be. You see, we're caught in a peculiar paradox. The more we try to find ourselves, the more lost we become. The more we try to change ourselves, the more stuck we feel. The more we try to be special, the more ordinary we become. And think about how much energy you spend trying to be different from what you are. What if all that energy was available for simply being, for simply living? For living. Here's something most people don't realize. You can't escape what you are. You can't escape your own existence. The very attempt to escape is what creates the feeling of being trapped. Consider how we're always waiting for something to happen. Waiting for the weekend, waiting for vacation, waiting for success, waiting for happiness. But life is only ever happening now. Most people think freedom means getting what you want. But true freedom is wanting what you get. It's being so completely open to life that you don't need it to be different from what it is. You see, we're all searching for meaning. But meaning isn't something you can find. It's something you create by being fully present to whatever is happening. Think about how much of your life is spent in mental commentary about what's happening, rather than simply experiencing what's happening. The commentary is always second-hand, always after the fact. Here's something profound. Every problem you think you have is created by thought. In the actual present moment, there are no problems. There are situations to be dealt with, but problems exist only in thought. Most people live in a world of concepts, ideas, and beliefs about reality rather than in reality itself. They mistake the menu for the meal, the map for the territory. Consider this. When you're not thinking about yourself, do you have any problems? When you're completely absorbed in what you're doing, where are your problems? You see, we've created this elaborate mental structure we call me, our personal history, our beliefs about ourselves, our ideas about who we should be. But who were you before you learned all that? Think about it. Before you learned your name, before you learned what you were supposed to be, before you learned how to think about yourself, what were you? That's still what you are. Most people are afraid of silence, afraid of stillness, afraid of being alone with themselves. But in that silence, in that stillness, something remarkable can be discovered, your true nature. You see, we become addicted to noise, to movement, to constant stimulation. We fill every moment with activity, every silence with sound, every space with things. But what are we running from? I think about how rarely we allow ourselves to simply be. We're always doing, achieving, becoming. But being is prior to doing. Existence precedes achievement. You already are what you're trying to become. Here's something fascinating. Notice how your mind is constantly commenting on experience, judging it, comparing it, trying to improve it. But who is aware of all this mental activity? Most people are so identified with their stream of thoughts that they never notice the awareness in which thoughts appear. It's like being so absorbed in the movies that you forget you're sitting in a theater. Consider this: everything you experience changes constantly. Thoughts, feelings, sensations come and go. But something remains unchanged, the awareness in which all experience appears. You see, we're like waves thinking we need to become the ocean. But we're already the ocean. Each wave is a temporary form of the same vast sea of consciousness. Think about how much energy we spend trying to be in control. But what if the very idea of being in control is what's keeping us from flowing with life? Most people live in constant resistance to what is. They're always arguing with reality, always wanting things to be different. But resistance is what creates suffering. Here's something profound. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation. True acceptance is seeing reality clearly without the distorting lens of what you think should be happening. Consider how we're always trying to get somewhere else, always reaching for the next moment. But life only happens in this moment. The future is just another thought happening now. You see, we've created this illusion of time, past and future, but all we ever experience is now. The past is memory happening now. The future is imagination happening now. To think about how much of your suffering comes from thoughts about the past or future. In the actual present moment, is there any suffering? Or is there just experience? Most people are constantly trying to fix themselves, improve themselves, become better versions of themselves. But who is this self that needs fixing? Can you find it? Here's something remarkable. Your essential nature is already perfect, already complete, already whole. What obscures this perfection is our constant attempt to perfect ourselves. Consider this: every time you try to grasp your true nature, it slips away. Why? Because you are what's doing the grasping. You can't grasp yourself any more than a hand can grasp itself. You see, we're all playing this cosmic game of hide and seek. The one thing we're looking for is what's doing the looking. The seeker is what's being sought. Think about how everything you experience appears and disappears in consciousness. But consciousness itself neither comes nor goes. It's the unchanging context in which all change occurs. Most people think enlightenment is some spectacular state of mind, but it's simply seeing what's already here, recognizing what you already are. Here's something that might completely transform your perspective. Everything you consider to be you is actually an appearance in consciousness. Your thoughts, feelings, sensations, memories, they all appear to you, but what are you? Consider how we're always trying to arrive somewhere, always seeking some future state of completion. But what if you're already there? What if there's nowhere to go because you're already here? You see, we've created this elaborate story about ourselves, our past, our future, our problems, our achievements. But who is the reader of this story? Who is aware of all these thoughts? Most people are so caught up in their personal drama that they never question who's watching the drama. It's like being so absorbed in a dream that you forget you're the dreamer. Think about how everything you know, everything you believe, everything you think about yourself, it's all learned, acquired, secondary. But what's primary? What's prior to all learning? Here's something fascinating. In deep sleep, where does your sense of self go? All your problems, all your achievements, All your identity disappears. Yet awareness remains. You know you slept. Consider this when you say, I am aware. Who is this I that's aware of awareness? Can awareness be divided into an observer and the observed? Or is it one seamless reality? You see, we're like waves in the ocean thinking we're separate from the ocean. Each wave thinks I was born. I will die. But nothing is born, nothing dies. The ocean just waves. Most people spend their lives trying to become something. But what if you're already everything? What if the very attempt to become is what prevents you from seeing what you are? You think about how we're always trying to get somewhere else, always reaching for some future moment. But life only happens now. The future is just another thought happening now. Here's something profound. Your true nature is not something you can know, because it's what's knowing. It's not something you can see, because it's what's seeing. Consider how every experience comes and goes, but something remains constant, the awareness in which all experiences appear. That awareness is what you are. You see, we're caught in this strange paradox. The more we try to find ourselves, the more we overlook what we already are. It's like a fish searching for water while swimming in it. Most people think they need to accumulate more knowledge, more experiences, more achievements. But what if what you're looking for requires letting go rather than acquiring? But think about how everything you experience, thoughts, feelings, sensations, appears in the space of consciousness. But what is the nature of that space? Can you find its boundaries? Here's something remarkable. When you're fully present, fully alive in this moment, is anything missing? Is anything wrong? Problems only exist in thought, in our mental projections. Consider this. Every thought you have about yourself is just another appearance in consciousness. But what is aware of these thoughts? What is their source? You see, we're all playing this game of pretending to be someone, pretending to be a separate self. But who is doing the pretending? Who is aware of this sense of separation? Thinking about how much energy we spend trying to become happy, trying to find peace. But what if happiness and peace are your natural state, simply obscured by our constant seeking? Most people are searching for something extraordinary, something spectacular. But what if the ordinary, everyday experience is already the miracle? What if this moment, exactly as it is the treasure we're seeking? Consider how we're always waiting for some future moment when everything will be perfect. But perfection is not a future state to be achieved. It's the recognition of what already is. You see, we've been conditioned to believe that we're incomplete, that we need something more to be whole. But what if that very belief is what creates the sense of incompleteness? Think about how every experience you've ever had has appeared in consciousness. The good ones, the bad ones, the meaningful ones, the mundane ones, all of them arise and subside in awareness. Here's something profound. Your essential nature doesn't depend on any experience. It's the unchanging background in which all experiences come and go like clouds in the sky. Most people are trying to find stability in their experiences, in their achievements, in their relationships. But all experiences are inherently unstable. True stability can only be found in what experiences everything. Consider this. When you're deeply absorbed in something you love, where is your sense of self? It dissolves, doesn't it? And in that dissolution, you're closest to what you truly are. You see, we're like actors who've forgotten we're acting. We've become so identified with our roles that we've forgotten we're playing a part in this cosmic drama. Think about how much of your life is spent thinking about yourself, your past, your future, your problems, your goals. But who is this self you're thinking about? Here's something fascinating. In the space of awareness, everything is allowed to be as it is. There's no resistance, no judgment, no preference. It's only thought that creates division. Most people are trying to get rid of their negative thoughts and feelings. But awareness doesn't try to get rid of anything. It simply witnesses everything without preference. Consider how we're always trying to change our experience, always wanting it to be different from what it is. But what if the very attempt to change our experience is what prevents us from fully experiencing it? You see, we've created this idea of spiritual enlightenment as some spectacular state of consciousness. But what if enlightenment is simply seeing what's already here, what's always been here? Now think about how everything you experience appears and disappears, comes and goes. But what remains constant? What never comes and goes? Here's something remarkable. When you're not thinking about yourself, do you have any problems? When you're completely present, Where is the problematic self? Consider this: every thought, every feeling, every sensation is known by awareness. But what knows awareness? Can awareness be known as an object? Most people think freedom means getting what they want. But true freedom is wanting what is. It's being so completely open to life that you don't need it to be different. You see, we're all searching for meaning, but meaning isn't something you can find, it's something you create by being fully present to whatever is happening. I think about how much of your suffering comes from resisting what is, from wanting reality to be different from what it is. But what if acceptance is the key to transformation?
I want you to understand that these habits we'll discuss are not external forces imposed upon you. They are patterns of thought and behavior that you have accepted, perhaps unknowingly, as part of your reality. But just as you have accepted them, you have the power to release them and step into your true, limitless nature. Let us begin with the first habit, living in the past. My dear friends, how often do you find yourselves dwelling on past events, reliving old hurts, or longing for times gone by? This habit of living in the past is perhaps the most insidious of all, for it robs you of your true creative power, the power of now. You see, the past, as you perceive it, is nothing more than a shadow, a memory traced in the halls of your mind. It has no substance, no reality, except that which you give it through your attention. When you dwell in the past, you are quite literally creating it anew in your present experience. Imagine, if you will, a projector in a cinema. The images on the screen seem real, don't they? They evoke emotions, trigger responses. But are they truly real? No, they are mere projections, illusions of light and shadow. Your memories, your past, are much the same. They are projections of your consciousness given light by your attention. But here's the liberating truth. You are not the projectionist, bound to play the same reel over and over. You are the projector itself, the source of all images. You have the power to change the reel, to project new images, to create a new reality. How do you do this? By fully embracing the power of the present moment. By recognizing that now is the only point of power. It is in this moment, right here, right now, that you have the ability to choose, to create, to manifest. When you catch yourself dwelling on the past, gently but firmly bring your attention back to the present. Feel the aliveness of this moment. Recognize that in this now you are free, you are powerful, you are divine. The past no power over you unless you give it power. This leads us seamlessly to our second habit, worrying about the future. Just as living in the past robs you of your power, so too does anxiety about the future. How many of you lie awake at night mind racing with what ifs and worst case scenarios? This habit of projecting fear into the future is a misuse of your divine creative power. You see, my dear friends, the future does not exist except as a concept in your mind. It is a blank canvas waiting for the strokes of your imagination. When you worry about the future, you are using your God-given power of creation to manifest the very things you fear. Remember, your imagination is not just idle fantasy. It is the very workshop in which your reality is forged. What you imagine with feeling, with conviction, becomes the blueprint for your experience. When you worry, you are imagining negative outcomes and imbuing them with the power of your emotion. You are in essence praying for what you do not want. Instead of worrying about the future, I urge you to use your imagination constructively. See the future you desire. Feel it live it in your mind as if it were already a reality. For in truth it is, in the realm of infinite possibility, which is your true home, all possibilities already exist. Your job is not to make things happen, but to align yourself with the reality you prefer. When you find yourself worrying about the future, pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself that the future is not set in stone, but is clay in your hands. Then consciously choose to imagine the outcome you desire. Feel the relief, the joy, the satisfaction of that perfect future. Let those feelings fill your being. This is not mere positive thinking, my friends. This is the active use of your divine creative power. Now let us move on to the third habit, comparing yourself to others. This habit, my dear friends, is a particularly pernicious one, for it denies the unique divine spark that resides within each of you. When you compare yourself to others, you are looking outside of yourself for validation, for a measure of your worth. But I tell you There is no standard external to you by which you can be measured. You are a unique expression of the divine. There has never been, nor will there ever be, another being exactly like you. Your journey, your experiences, your perspective are yours alone. To compare yourself to another is like comparing an oak tree to a rose bush. Both are perfect expressions of life, yet wholly unique in their manifestation. When you fall into the habit of comparison, you are denying your own divinity. You are saying to the universe, I am not enough as I am. But I assure you, you are more than enough. You are in fact all that is. For in your true nature, you are one with the divine, one with all of creation. Instead of comparing yourself to others, I urge you to turn your gaze inward. Recognize the divine spark within you. Celebrate your unique gifts, your particular way of expressing the infinite. For it is in embracing your true self, your divine nature, that you find true fulfillment and peace. When you catch yourself making comparisons, pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself of this truth. I am a perfect expression of the divine, whole and complete as I am. Feel the truth of these words resonating in every cell of your being. For as you acknowledge your own divinity, you automatically release the need for external validation. This understanding leads us naturally to our fourth habit, seeking approval from others. My dear friends, how much of your life is spent seeking the approval of others? How often do you shape your actions, your words, even your thoughts, based on what you believe others want or expect from you? This habit of seeking external approval is a denial of your own inner guidance, your own divine wisdom. You see, within each of you is a direct line to the infinite intelligence of the universe. This inner knowing, this divine guidance is always available to you. It speaks to you in the language of intuition, of feeling, of inner knowing. But when you habitually seek approval from others, you drown out this inner voice. You replace divine wisdom with human opinion. Remember, no one else can know what is right for you. No one else walks in your shoes, sees through eyes or knows the stirrings of your heart. The approval you seek outside yourself can only ever be a pale reflection of the divine approval that already resides within you. Instead of seeking approval from others, I urge you to cultivate a deep trust in your own inner guidance. Listen to the still, small voice within. Feel for the path that resonates with your deepest truth. For it is in aligning with this inner knowing that you step into your true power, your divine nature. When you find yourself seeking approval, pause, take a deep breath. Turn your attention inward and ask yourself, what do I know to be true? What feels right to me? Trust the answer that arises. It may come as a thought, a feeling, or simply a sense of knowing. This is your divine self, guiding you towards your highest good. Now, let us explore the fifth habit, negative self-talk. My dear friends, the words you speak to yourself are perhaps the most powerful in all of creation. For these words, these thoughts are the very instructions you give to the infinite to create your reality. When you engage in negative self-talk, you are quite literally programming yourself for limitation and failure. You see, the subconscious mind does not differentiate between what is real and what is imagined. It accepts as truth whatever you tell it repeatedly. When you habitually engage in negative self-talk, saying things like, I'm not good enough, or I always fail, you are instructing your subconscious to make these statements reality. Here's the liberating truth. Just as you have the power to program limitation, you have the power to program success, abundance, and joy. Your words, your thoughts are the tools with which you sculpt your reality. Instead of negative self-talk, I urge you to consciously cultivate positive, empowering inner dialogue. Speak to yourself as you would to someone you deeply love and respect. Affirm your divine nature, your inherent worthiness, your unlimited potential. When you catch yourself in negative self-talk, pause. Take a deep breath. Then consciously choose to rephrase your thoughts in a positive, empowering way. Instead of I'm not good enough, say I am constantly growing and improving. Instead of I always fail, say every experience brings me closer to success. Remember, my dear friends, you are not your thoughts. You are the thinker of your thoughts. You have the power to choose which thoughts you will entertain, which seeds you will water in the garden of your mind. This understanding brings us to our sixth habit, perfectionism. Perfectionism. It masquerades as a virtue, doesn't it? The relentless pursuit of excellence, the refusal to settle for anything less than the best. But I tell you, my dear friends, perfectionism is a trap. It is a denial of your divine nature, which is already perfect, whole, and complete. You see, the pursuit of perfection implies that you are somehow flawed, incomplete, in need of improvement. But this is a fundamental misunderstanding of your true nature. You are not a human being striving for perfection. You are a perfect divine being having a human experience. The habit of perfectionism keeps you in a constant state of striving, of reaching for a future state of better. But in doing so, it robs you of the joy and power of the present moment. It keeps you focused on what's wrong rather than celebrating what's right. Instead of perfectionism, I urge you to embrace the concept of excellence. Excellence acknowledges your current perfection while allowing for growth and expansion. It celebrates your efforts and achievements rather than constantly finding them lacking. When you find yourself caught in the grip of perfectionism, pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself of this truth. I am already perfect, whole, and complete. My experiences are opportunities for joyful expression, not tests to be passed. This shift in perspective allows you to approach your endeavors with joy and enthusiasm rather than anxiety and self-criticism. It allows you to fully express your divine nature in each moment, rather than postponing your joy to some future state of perfection. Now let us explore the seventh habit, avoiding responsibility. My dear friends, the avoidance of responsibility is perhaps one of the most limiting habits you can cultivate. For in avoiding responsibility, you are denying your own power as a creator. You are saying to the universe, I am not the author of my life, but a victim of circumstance. But I tell you, there are no victims in this universe, only creators who have forgotten their power. Every circumstance in your life, every experience you have, is a creation of your consciousness. This may seem a heavy burden to bear, but it is in fact the key to your liberation. You see, when you avoid responsibility, you place the power to change your life outside of yourself. You wait for circumstances to change, for others to behave differently, for luck to smile upon you. But in doing so, you give away your God-given power to get in. Instead of avoiding responsibility, I urge you to embrace it fully. Recognize that you are the author of your life story. Every thought, every word, every action is a brushstroke on the canvas of your existence. When you embrace this responsibility, you step into your power as a divine creator. When you find yourself avoiding responsibility, pause, take a deep breath. Then ask yourself, how have I created this situation? What can I learn from it? How can I use this as an opportunity for growth and transformation? These questions shift you from a victim mentality to a creator mentality. Remember, taking responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself. It means acknowledging your power to create change. It means recognizing that regardless of what has happened in the past, you have the power to choose your response in this moment, and in doing so, to shape your future. This understanding leads us seamlessly to our eighth habit, fear of care. The fear of failure. How many dreams has it strangled in their cradle? How many divine expressions has it silenced? This habit, my dear friends, is perhaps the most limiting of all, for it keeps you small, keeps you safe, keeps you from expressing the fullness of your divine nature. But what is failure really? Is it not merely a judgment, a label we attach to certain outcomes? And who is the judge? Only you. You see, in the infinite realm of possibility, there is no failure. There are only experiences, each one an opportunity for growth, for learning, for expanding your consciousness. When you fear failure, you are saying to the universe, I do not trust in my divine nature. I do not believe in my ability to grow and adapt. But I tell you, there is nothing to fear, for you are an eternal being, a spark of the divine. No experience can diminish you. No outcome can lessen your inherent worth. Instead of fearing failure, I urge you to embrace it as a teacher. See every failure as feedback, as valuable information guiding you toward your highest expression. For it is often in our greatest challenges that we discover our greatest strengths. When you find yourself gripped by the fear of failure, pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself of this truth. I am an eternal being, whole and complete. Every experience enriches me. Every challenge strengthens me. I cannot fail, for I am always growing. This shift in perspective allows you to approach life with courage and enthusiasm. It frees you to take risks, to try new things, to fully express your divine nature without the paralyzing fear of what if. Now let us explore the ninth habit, lack of self-discipline. My dear friends, self-discipline is often misunderstood. Many see it as a form of self-denial, of forcing oneself on unpleasant tasks. But true self-discipline is something far more powerful and liberating. It is the ability to align your actions with your highest intentions, to bring your outer world into harmony with your inner vision. You see, each of you has within you a vision of your highest self, your most divine expression. This vision is not something imposed from outside, but a knowing that comes from your deepest essence. Self-discipline is the bridge that allows you to bring this vision into reality. When you lack self-discipline, you are at the mercy of your fleeting moods, your temporary discomforts, your habitual patterns. You allow the small everyday self to override the wisdom of your higher self. In doing so, you deny your own divinity, your own power to shape your reality. Instead of viewing self-discipline as a burden, I urge you to see it as a form of self-love. It is the highest respect you can show to your divine nature. When you exercise self-discipline, you are saying to the universe, I honor my highest vision. I commit to my own growth and expansion. When you find yourself struggling with self-discipline, pause. Take a deep breath. Connect with your vision of your highest self. Feel the power and aliveness of that vision. Then ask yourself, what action would my highest self take in this moment? Trust the answer that arises and act on it. Remember, self-discipline is not about perfection. It's about consistent effort, about choosing again and again to align with your highest intentions. Each time you make this choice, you strengthen your connection to your divine nature. You expand your capacity to create your desired reality. And finally, we come to our 10th habit, neglecting self-care. My dear friends, your physical body is the temple of your divine spirit. It is the vehicle through which you experience this earthly realm, the instrument through which you express your divine nature. When you neglect self-care, you are not honoring this sacred vessel. But self-care goes beyond mere physical maintenance. True self-care nourishes your mind, your emotions, your spirit. It is about creating space in your life for joy, for rest, for reflection. It is about honoring your needs, respecting your boundaries, and nurturing your deepest self. When you neglect self-care, you are saying to the universe, I am not worthy of care and attention. But I tell you, you are worthy of all the care, all the love, all the attention you can give yourself. For in caring for yourself, you are caring for a unique expression of the divine. Instead of viewing self-care as selfish or indulgent, I urge you to see it as a sacred duty. Just as you would tend to a precious garden, tend to yourself with love, with attention, with devotion. For as you nurture yourself, you increase your capacity to express your divine nature, to bring more light into the world. When you find yourself neglecting self-care, pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, what does my deepest self need in this moment? It might be rest, nourishment, movement, connection, or quiet reflection. Trust the answer that arises and honor it. Remember, self-care is not about pampering yourself occasionally. It's about consistently honoring your needs, respecting your boundaries, and nurturing your whole being. It's about creating a life that supports your highest expression. Now, my dear friends, as we come to the close of our exploration of these 10 habits, I want you to understand something crucial. These habits, these patterns of thought and behavior, are not your true nature. They are simply habits, learned responses that you have adopted over time. And just as you have learned them, you can unlearn them. You see, you are not these habits. You are not your thoughts, your emotions, your past experiences. You are the awareness that observes all these things. You are the divine consciousness that animates your being. This awareness, this consciousness untouched by any habit, any pattern, any experience. When you recognize this truth, when you identify with your true nature rather than with these temporary habits, you reclaim your power. You step into your divine inheritance as a creator, as a shaper of reality. So I urge you, my dear friends, to be vigilant. Watch your thoughts, your words, your actions. When you catch yourself falling into these habits of mental weakness, pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself of your true nature. Choose again, this time from a place of power of divine knowing. Remember, every moment is a new beginning. Every breath is an opportunity to realign with your highest self. You are not bound by your past, by your habits, by your perceived limitations. You are free here and now to choose again. As you go forth from this place, carry with you this knowing. You are a divine being, perfect, whole, and complete. These habits we've discussed are not flaws to be corrected, but opportunities for growth, for expansion, for more fully expressing your true nature. Embrace these opportunities. Use them as stepping stones on your journey of self-realization. For as you release these habits of mental weakness, you make space for your true strength to emerge. You allow your divine light to shine more brightly in the world. And know this as you do this work, as you consciously choose to align with your highest self, you are not just transforming your own life. You are contributing to the transformation of the entire world. For we are all one, all expressions of the same divine consciousness. Your growth, your expansion, your light touches us all. So go forth, my dear friends, with courage and conviction. Recognize these habits when they arise, but do not judge them. Simply choose again. Choose to align with your highest self, your divine nature. For in doing so, you are fulfilling your sacred purpose. You are becoming who you truly are. Remember always, you are powerful beyond measure, loved beyond imagination, and capable of more than you could ever dream. Now go and let your divine light shine. I want you to take a moment and really contemplate these words. It's coming. What is this that we speak of? It is everything you have ever desired, everything you have ever imagined for yourself, everything you have ever dared to dream. And when we say trust in divine timing, we are acknowledging the perfect orchestration of the universe, the impeccable timing of God, which is your own wonderful human imagination. You see, my dear friends, the world you see around you is nothing more than the outpicturing of your own consciousness. Everything you experience in your physical reality is a reflection of your inner world, your thoughts, your beliefs, and most importantly, your imaginal acts. And just as there is perfect order in the universe, there is perfect timing in the manifestation of your desires. But let us dive deep into this concept. When we say as coming, we are affirming a fundamental truth of the universe, that which you have imagined, that which you have felt real in your imagination must inevitably come to pass in your physical experience. This is not wishful thinking, my friends. This is law. Consider for a moment the words of Scripture. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. What does this mean? It means that your faith, your unwavering belief in the reality of your imagined state is the very substance that brings it into being. Your faith is the evidence of your desire's fulfillment, even before it is made manifest in the physical world. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, I have been imagining and believing for so long, and still my desire has not come to pass. And to you I say, trust in divine timing. For just as a seed planted in the ground needs time to germinate and grow before it breaks through the surface, your imaginal acts need time to grow and develop in the unseen realm before they burst forth into your physical reality. Remember, my dear friends, that time is a construct of the human mind. In the realm of spirit, in the realm of your imagination, there is no time. All is now. When you imagine your desire fulfilled, when you step into the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are experiencing it now in the spiritual realm. And it is this experience, this feeling, that sets in motion the series of events that will bring about its physical manifestation. But you must persist. You must live from the end, continuously dwelling in the state of wish fulfilled. For it is your persistent assumption that gives life to your desire. As you continue to live in the end, as you continue to feel the reality of your desire fulfilled, You are watering the seed you have planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. Let me share with you a simple yet powerful technique to help you maintain this state of living in the end. Before you go to sleep each night, I want you to imagine a scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire. Make it as vivid and as real as you possibly can. Engage all your senses. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the gratitude of having this desire fulfilled. As you drift off to sleep in this state, you are impregnating your subconscious mind with the reality of your desire. And your subconscious mind, being the faithful servant that it is, will work tirelessly through the night to bring about the conditions necessary for the manifestation of your desire. Now, some of you may be wondering, but Neville, what about action? Don't we need to do something to bring about our desires? And to this I say, inspired action will come naturally as you live in the state of the wish fulfilled. You see, when you truly believe that your desire is already yours, when you live from that state of completion, you will naturally be moved to take the actions that are in alignment with the fulfillment of your desire. But remember, these actions are not the cause of your desire's fulfillment. They are the effect. They are the bridge of incidents that your subconscious mind constructs to lead you to the physical realization of your imagined state. Your job is not to figure out how your desire will come about. Your job is simply to persist in the assumption that it's already done. Trust in divine timing, my friends, for the universe, which is nothing more than the outpicturing of your own wonderful human imagination, knows the perfect segmentation and perfect way to bring your desires into entity. Your desires are already fulfilled in the spiritual realm. They are already yours, and they are making their way to you through the medium of time and space. But let us delve even deeper into this concept of divine timing. You see, my dear friends, time as we perceive it in our physical reality is but an illusion. In the realm of spirit, in the realm of your imagination, all times exist simultaneously. The past, the present, and the future are one. This is why when you imagine your desire fulfilled, when you step into the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are experiencing it now. This understanding is crucial, for it liberates you from the anxious waiting, from the constant checking to see if your desire has manifested. When you truly grasp that your desire is already yours in the spiritual realm, you can relax into the knowing that its physical manifestation is inevitable. You can trust in the perfect unfolding of events that will bring it into your experience. Consider for a moment the growth of a tree. When you plant a seed, do you dig it up every day to see if it has sprouted? Of course not. You trust in the natural process of growth. You water it, you ensure it has sunlight. And you wait patiently, knowing that in due time the tree will emerge. The same is true for the seeds of your desires that you plant in your imagination. Your job is to plant the seed through your imaginal act, to water it with your persistent assumption, and to trust in the natural process of growth and manifestation. Just as you would not rush a tree to grow faster, you cannot rush the manifestation of your desires. Divine timing knows the perfect moment for your desire to come into fruition. Some of you may be thinking, but Neville, what if I'm climbing something that seems impossible? What if the circumstances of my life seem to contradict my desire? And to this I say circumstances do not matter. Your imagination is creating reality. The circumstances you see now are nothing more than the flashbacks of your past imagining. As you change your imagining, as you persist in the new state, the circumstances of your life will inevitably change to conform to your new mental state. Remember the words of Scripture, with God all things are possible. And who is this God? It is your own wonderful human imagination. There is no limit to what you can be, do, or have when you harness the creative power of your imagination. The only limits that exist are those you place upon yourself through your beliefs and assumptions. So I urge you, my dear friend, to dare to imagine greatly. Dare to step into your wish fulfilled, no matter how impossible it may seem from your current standpoint. For as you do this, as you persist in this new state, you are literally rearranging the entire universe to bring about the fulfillment of your desire. But remember, persistence is key. You must not waver in your assumption. You must not be moved by the evidence of your physical senses. For what you see now is the result of your past thinking. It is the harvest of seeds planted in the past. As you persist in your new state, as you continue to live from the end, you are planting new seeds that will inevitably bear fruit in your physical reality. Let me share with you a powerful practice to help you maintain a state of persistence. Throughout your day, whenever you have a moment, ask yourself this question: how would I feel if my desire were already fulfilled? Then step into that feeling. Feel it as intensely and as vividly as you can. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the gratitude of having your desire fulfilled. As you do this consistently, you are training your subconscious mind to accept this new state as your reality. And remember, your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is imagined and what is physically real. It accepts as true whatever you impress upon it with feeling. So as you persist in feeling the reality of your desire fulfilled, your subconscious mind accepts this as fact and begins to work tirelessly to bring it into your physical experience. Now let us address another aspect of divine timing that is often misunderstood. Many people believe that divine timing means sitting back passively and waiting for their desires to manifest. But this is not the case at all. Divine timing is not about inaction. It is about inspired action. You see, when you are living from the end, when you are truly dwelling in the state of the wish fulfilled, you will be naturally moved to take actions that are in alignment with the fulfillment of your desire. These actions will not feel forced or strained. They will feel natural and effortless, as if you are simply playing your part in a play that has already been written. This is the true meaning of divine timing. It is the perfect orchestration of events, circumstances, and inspired actions that lead to the manifestation of your desire. Your job is not to force these actions or to try to make things happen through sheer will. Your job is to maintain the state of the wish fulfilled and to follow the promptings of your intuition, the inner guidance that naturally arises from this state. Remember, my dear friends, that the universe is infinitely abundant. There is no lack or limitation in the spiritual realm. Whatever you can imagine, whatever you can feel as real, is yours for the taking. But you must claim it. You must step into the feeling of its reality now, not at some future time. This brings us to another crucial aspect of trusting in divine timing, detachment from the when and how. Many people make the mistake of trying to dictate exactly when and how their desire will manifest. But in doing so, they are limiting the infinite ways in which the universe will consider out their desire. Instead, I urge you to focus solely on the end result. Feel the reality of having your desire fulfilled now. Live from that state and then release any attachment to when or how it will come about. Trust that the universe, which is nothing more than your own wonderful human imagination, externalized, knows the perfect timing and the perfect way to bring your desire into physical form. This detachment is not indifference. It is not a lack of desire. On the contrary, it is the ultimate expression of faith. It is saying to the universe, I trust you completely. I know that my desire is already mine in the spiritual realm, and I know that you will bring it into my physical experience in the perfect way and at the perfect time. Now, some of you may be wondering, but Neville, what if I have multiple desires? How can I focus on all of them at once? And to this I say you don't need to. Focus on the feeling of fulfillment, but the feeling of having all your desires realized. Step into the state of the person who has everything they want. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the completeness of that state. As you do this, you are aligning yourself with the frequency of fulfillment. And from this state, all your individual desires will naturally begin to manifest. For when you are in a state of fulfillment, when you are vibrating at the frequency of having it all, the universe has no choice but to reflect that back to you in your physical reality. Let us now explore another aspect of divine timing that is often overlooked, the concept of divine order. You see, my dear friends, everything in the universe happens in perfect order. Just as there is a natural order to the seasons, to the growth of a plant, to the development of a child in the womb, There is a natural order to the manifestation of your desires. Sometimes, certain things need to fall into place before your desire can manifest in its fullness. Certain experiences may be necessary for your growth and development. Certain people may need to enter or exit your life. Certain lessons may need to be learned. All of this is part of the perfect unfolding of your desire. This is why it's crucial to trust in divine timing. For what may seem like a delay or a setback from your limited human perspective may actually be a necessary step in the perfect unfoldment of your desire. Every experience, every circumstance, and every person you encounter is playing a role in bringing you to the full realization of your desire. So instead of becoming frustrated or discouraged when things don't seem to be moving as quickly as you'd like, I urge you to cultivate an attitude of curiosity and wonder. Look for the lessons, the growth opportunities, the hidden blessings in every situation. Trust that everything is working together for your good, even if you can't see how in the moment. Remember the words of Scripture. All things work together for good to them that love God. And again, who is this God? It is your own wonderful human imagination. When you love your imagination, when you trust in its power to create your reality, everything in your life begins to work together for your good. Now let us address a question that often arises when discussing divine timing, the concept of resistance. Many people believe that if they are experiencing resistance or challenges, it means they are doing something wrong or that their desire is not meant to be. But this is not the case at all. Resistance is a natural part of the creative process. It is the universe's way of strengthening you, of preparing you for the fulfillment of your desire. Just as a muscle must encounter resistance to grow stronger, you too must encounter and overcome resistance to grow into the person who can embody and maintain the state of your wish fulfilled. So when you encounter resistance, do not be discouraged. Instead, see it as a sign that you are on the right path. See it as an opportunity to strengthen your faith, to deepen your commitment to your desire. Use it as a chance to practice living from the end, to persist in your assumption, even in the face of contrary evidence. Remember, the circumstances you see now are nothing more than the fruit of your past imagining. As you persist in your new state, as you continue to live from the decline despite the seeming resistance, you are planting new seeds that will inevitably bear fruit in your physical reality. This brings us to another crucial aspect of trusting in divine timing, the importance of being in gratitude. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it is a state of being. When you are truly grateful, you are acknowledging that you already have what you desire. You are aligning yourself with the frequency of abundance and fulfillment. I encourage you to cultivate an attitude of gratitude, not just for what you have now, but for what is coming. Give thanks for your desire as if it already manifested. Feel the joy, the excitement, the appreciation for its fulfillment now, not at some future time. As you do this, you are sending a powerful message to the universe. You are saying, I trust you completely. You know that my desire is already mine, and I am grateful for its manifestation. This attitude of gratitude accelerates the manifestation process, for it aligns you more fully with the state of having your desire fulfilled. Now let's delve into another aspect of divine timing that is often misunderstood, the concept of divine preparation. You see, my dear friends, sometimes there is a period of preparation that must occur before your desire can manifest in its fullness. This preparation may involve inner work, shifts in your consciousness, changes in your circumstances, or the alignment of certain external factors. During this period of preparation, it may seem as though nothing is happening. You may feel as though you are in a holding pattern, waiting for something to change. But I assure you, a great deal is happening behind the scenes. The universe is rearranging itself, setting the stage for the grand manifestation of your desire. This period of preparation is crucial. It is during this time that you are being molded and shaped into the person who can fully embody and maintain the state of your wish fulfilled. You are being given the experiences, the insights, the growth opportunities that will enable you to step fully into the reality of your desire. So instead of becoming impatient or discouraged during this period of preparation, I urge you to embrace it. Use this time to deepen your faith, to strengthen your conviction, to more fully align yourself with the state of the wish fulfilled. Trust that everything is unfolding perfectly, even if you can't see the full picture yet. Remember the words of Scripture. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Your faith during this period of preparation is the very substance that is bringing your desire into being. It is the evidence of its fulfillment, even before it is manifest in the physical world. Now let us address another crucial aspect of trusting in divine timing, the importance of letting go. This may seem paradoxical. How can you persist in your assumption while also letting go? But this letting go is not about abandoning your desire. It's about releasing your attachment to the outcome, your need to control the process. You see, when you're attached to a specific outcome, when you are trying to control how, and when your desire will manifest, you are actually limiting the infinite ways in which the universe can bring it about. You are saying to the universe, it must happen this way, and at this time. But the universe, in its infinite wisdom and abundance, may have an even better way, a way that you cannot even conceive of from your limited human perspective. So I urge you to let go. Release your grip on the how and the when. Trust that the universe knows the perfect timing and the perfect way to bring your desire into physical form. Your job is simply to maintain the state of the wish fulfilled, to live from the end, and to follow the promptings of your intuition. This letting go is not passive. It is not giving up. On the contrary, it is the ultimate act of faith. It is saying to the universe, I trust you completely. I know that my desire is already mine in the spiritual realm, and I know that you will bring it into my physical experience in the most perfect way and at the most perfect time. As you practice this letting go, you will find that a great sense of peace and ease comes over you. The anxiety, the constant checking to see if your desire has manifested falls away. You can relax into the knowing that it is done, that it is coming, that divine timing is at work. Now, let us explore another aspect of divine timing that is often overlooked, the concept of divine alignment. You see, my dear friends, sometimes the delay in the manifestation of your desire is not a delay at all. It's just the universe aligning all the necessary elements to bring about your desire in its fullest and most magnificent form. Think of it like a grand symphony. Each instrument must come in at precisely the right moment for the music to be harmonic and beautiful. If even one instrument is out of time, the entire piece is affected. The same is true for the manifestation of your desires. Each element, each person, each circumstance must come into alignment at precisely the right moment for your desire to manifest in its most perfect form. This is why patience is so crucial in the manifestation process. Not a passive patience that sits back and waits, but an active patience that continues to live from that continues to align with the frequency of the wish fulfilled, even as you wait for all elements to come into perfect alignment. Remember, in the realm of spirit, in the realm of your imagination, your desire is already fulfilled. It is already yours. The physical manifestation is simply the outer world catching up to what is already true in the spiritual realm. And just as it takes time for a physical seed to grow into a mighty oak, it takes time for the seed of your desire to grow and manifest in the physical world. But make no mistake, my dear friends, it is coming. Your desire is on its way to you. Divine timing is at work, orchestrating all the elements necessary for its perfect manifestation. Your job is simply to hold fast to your faith, to persist in your assumption, and to trust in the perfect unfolding of the universe. Now let us address a question that often arises when discussing divine timing, the concept of divine detours. Sometimes on the path to the manifestation of your desire, you may encounter what seems like a detour. You may find yourself in situations or circumstances that seem to be taking you away from your desired outcome. But I assure you there are no real detours in the divine plan. Every experience, every circumstance, every person you encounter is playing a role in bringing you to the full realization of your desire. What may seem like a detour from your limited human perspective actually be the most direct path to the fulfillment of your desire. These seeming detours often provide invaluable lessons, experiences, or connections that are necessary for the full manifestation of your desire. They may be preparing you, strengthening you, or aligning you more fully with the state of the wish fulfilled. So when you encounter what seems like a detour, instead of becoming discouraged or losing faith, I urge you to ask yourself, how is this experience serving me? What lessons or growth opportunities is it providing? How is it preparing me for the full realization of my desire? As you do this, you begin to see every experience, every circumstance as a gift. You begin to trust more fully in the perfect unfolding of the universe. You begin to understand that divine timing is always at work, always guiding you towards the most perfect manifestation of your desire. Remember, my dear friends, that the universe is infinitely abundant and endlessly creative. It has ways of bringing about your desire that you cannot even conceive of from your current standpoint. So trust in its wisdom. Trust in its perfect timing. Trust that it is always working for your highest good. Now, as we near the end of our time together, I want to leave you with a powerful practice to help you align more fully with divine timing. Each night before you go to sleep, I want you to imagine yourself at the end of a perfect day. A day in which all your desires have been fulfilled. Feel the satisfaction, the joy, the gratitude of having everything you've ever wanted. As you drift off to sleep in this state, you are impregnating your subconscious mind with the reality of your desires fulfilled. You are aligning yourself with the frequency of fulfillment. And your subconscious mind, being the faithful servant that it is, will work tirelessly through the night to bring about the conditions necessary for the manifestation of your desires. Remember, sleep is the time when your conscious mind is at rest and your subconscious mind is most receptive. By entering sleep in the state of the wish fulfilled, you are programming your subconscious mind for success. You are aligning yourself more fully with the reality of your desires manifested. As you practice this nightly, you will find that your days begin to change. You will begin to notice synchronicities, coincidences, and opportunities that align with the fulfillment of your desires. You will find yourself naturally taking inspired actions that lead you closer to your goals. You will begin to embody more fully the person who has already achieved their desires. And all of this, my dear friends, is divine timing at work. It is the perfect orchestra of the universe bringing about the manifestation of your desires in the most perfect way and at the most perfect time. So trust in divine timing. Trust that your desires are coming. Trust that the universe is working tirelessly to bring about their manifestation. For when you trust, when you have faith, when you live from the end, you are aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe. And in that alignment, all things are possible. Remember, you are not separate from the universe. You are not separate from God. You are one with the creative power that shapes worlds. Your imagination is God in action. And as you imagine, as you feel the reality of your desires fulfilled, you are literally reshaping your world. So go forth, my dear friends, with confidence and faith. Live from the end. Persist in your assumption. Trust in divine timing, for your desires are already yours in the spiritual realm, and they are making their way to you through the medium of time and space. It's coming, my dear friends. Your every desire, your every dream, your every imagined state is all coming. Trust in divine timing. Trust in the perfect molding of the universe. Trust in the creative power of your own wonderful human imagination. For in that trust, in that faith, in that knowing lies the key to the fulfillment of all your desires. It's coming. Trust in divine timing and watch as your world transforms before your very eyes. Thank you, my dear friends. May you go forth and create the life of your dreams. For you are the operant power. You are the creator of your reality. And divine timing is always working in your favor. This secret is encapsulated in 5 powerful words. Be silent anything that you watch them happen. Now you might be wondering, what does it mean to be silent? And how can silence possibly bring about the manifestation of our deepest desires? My dear friends, the silence I speak of is not merely the absence of sound, but a state of being, a profound inner quietude that allows the creative power within you to work its magic. In this silence, you will find the birthplace of all creation. It is the womb of the universe, the void from which all things emerge. When you learn to cultivate this silence, to nurture it within yourself, you tap into the very source of all that is, was, and ever will be. But let me be clear, this is not a passive silence. It is not a state of inaction or resignation. No, the silence I speak of is alive, vibrant, and pulsing with creative energy. It is a silence filled with the certainty of your desire fulfilled, a silence pregnant with possibility. Imagine, if you will, a seed planted in the earth. Does it make a sound as it grows? Does it announce its intentions to the world? No, it grows in silence, pushing through the soil, reaching for the sun, all without a whisper. And yet in that silence, a miracle unfolds. From a tiny seed emerges a mighty oak, a beautiful flower, or a bountiful fruit tree. Your desires, my friends, are like that seed. They do not need to be shouted from the rooftops or constantly verbalized. In fact, the more you speak of them, the more you rob them their power. Instead, plant them in the fertile soil of your imagination, water them with the certainty of their fulfillment, and then be silent. Allow them to grow in the secret, sacred space of your inner world. This silence is not about suppressing your desires or denying their existence. On the contrary, it's about giving them the space and energy they need to manifest. When you constantly speak about what you want, when you continually focus on the lack of it in your life, you're essentially telling the universe, this is what I don't have. And the universe, in its infinite wisdom, continues to reflect that lack back to you. But when you plant your desire in silence, when you nurture it in the quiet certainty of its fulfillment, you're sending a different message. You're saying to the universe, this is already mine. It is done. And the universe has no choice but to conform to this new reality you've created within yourself. Let me share with you a story that illustrates this principle. There was once a man who desperately wanted a promotion at work. He talked about it constantly, telling anyone who'd listened about how much he deserved it, how hard he had worked, and how unfair it was that he hadn't received it yet. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and still the promotion eluded him. Then one day he heard these very words we're discussing today. He decided to try a different approach. He stopped talking about the promotion altogether. Instead, he went into the silence of his imagination. There he saw himself sitting in the new office, felt the pride and satisfaction of his new position, heard the congratulations of his colleagues. He lived from the end, experiencing the fulfillment of his desire as a present fact. In his outer world, he continued to work diligently, but he no longer spoke of the promotion. He no longer complained about not having it. He simply knew in the depths of his being that it was already his. And do you know what happened? Within a month, he was called into his boss's office and offered the very position he had been imagining. This, my friends, is the power of silence. It is the power of living from the end, of experiencing your desire fulfilled in the inner world of imagination. For when you do this, when you truly embody the feeling of your wish fulfilled, the outer world has no choice but to reshape itself to match your intent. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, isn't this just positive thinking? Isn't this just another version of the power of positive thought? And to that I say emphatically no. This is not mere positive thinking. This is not about trying to consult that something good might happen. This is about knowing with absolute certainty that what you desire is already yours. You see, in the realm of imagination, there is no future. There is only the eternal now. When you enter into the silence of your imagination and experience your desire as fulfilled, you are not hoping for a future event. You are experiencing a present reality. And it is this present experience, this living from the end, that has the power to reshape your world. Let me explain further. The world you see around you, the circumstances of your life, are nothing more than the outpicturing of your estates. Your consciousness is the only reality. Everything else, your job, your relationships, your financial situation, these are all shadows, reflections of what you hold to be true in your imagination. So when you enter into the silence and live from the end, experiencing your desire as fulfilled, you are quite literally changing your world from the inside out. You are impressing upon the subconscious mind a new concept of self, a new pattern of thinking and being. And your subconscious mind, which knows no difference between what is vividly imagined and what is actually experienced in the outer world, begins to work tirelessly to bring about the conditions that match this new self-concept. This, my dear friends, is why silence is so powerful. In silence, you are free from the limitations of your current circumstances. In silence, you are free from the doubts and fears that may plague your waking mind. In silence, you are free to be, to experience, to live as the person who has already achieved their heart's desire. But let me be clear, this silence, this living from the end, is not a one-time event. It's not something you do once and then sit back and wait for results. No, it is a state of being that you must return to again and again until it becomes your natural way of existing in the world. Think of it like this. If you were to plant a seed and then immediately after see if it had grown, what would happen? The seed would never have the chance to take root, to sprout, to grow into the magnificent plant it was meant to be. In the same way, if you enter into the silence, experience your desires fulfilled, and then immediately return to your old patterns of thinking and speaking, constantly checking to see if your desire has manifested, you rob it of the very energy it needs to come into being. Instead, you must trust in the process. You must have faith in the power of your imagination. You must know with every fiber of your being that what you have experienced in the silence of your imagination is more real, more true than anything you can see or touch in the outer world. This brings us to another crucial aspect of being silent, letting go. Once you have planted the seed of your desire in the fertile soil of your imagination, once you have lived from the end and experienced it as fulfilled, you must let it go. Release it into the hands of the universe, trusting that the same power that turns an acorn into an oak tree, that turns a caterpillar into a butterfly, will bring your desire into manifestation. This letting go is not about forgetting your desire or no longer wanting it. It's about releasing the anxiety, the doubt, the need to control how and when it will come about. It's about surrendering to the wisdom of the universe, knowing that it has infinite ways of bringing about what you desire, ways that your limited human mind could never conceive of. Remember, the universe is not constrained by what you consider possible or probable. It operates according to laws that transcend human understanding. Your job is not to figure out how your desire will manifest. Your job is simply to live from the end, to be the person who already has what they desire, and to trust in the perfect unfolding of divine timing. Now, some of you might be wondering, but Neville, what if I have multiple desires? What if there are many things I want to manifest in my life? And to that I say, wonderful. The creative power within you is limitless. It is not constrained by time or space or the number of desires you hold in your heart. However, I would caution you against trying to focus on too many things at once. Remember, the power lies in your ability to live from the end, to fully embody the feeling of your desire fulfilled. This becomes more challenging when you're juggling multiple desires. Instead, I suggest you focus on one primary desire at a time. Choose the one that, if fulfilled, would have the greatest positive impact on your life. Then enter into the silence and live from the end of that desire fulfilled. As you do this, you may find that many of your other desires naturally fall into place. For when you change your concept of self at a fundamental level, every aspect of your life begins to shift to align with this new self-concept. Let's delve deeper into this concept of living from the end. What does it really mean to live although your desire is already fulfilled? It means assuming the feeling, the state of consciousness of the person who already has what you desire. If your desire is for financial abundance, then in the silence of your imagination, feel the peace and security that comes with having more than enough. Feel the joy of being able to buy what you want when you want. Feel the satisfaction of being able to help others, to give generously. Embody these feelings so completely that when you open your eyes and return to your Shanti love, if your desire is for a loving relationship, Then in your imagination, feel the warmth of your partner's embrace. Feel the joy of shared laughter, the comfort of deep understanding. Feel the satisfaction of giving and receiving love freely and fully. Let these feelings permeate your being so completely that you carry the energy of love with you wherever you go. If your desire is for a successful career, then in your inner world, feel the pride of achievement. Feel the satisfaction of doing work you love. Feel the respect and admiration of your colleagues. Embody these feelings so thoroughly that you begin to carry yourself with the confidence and poise of someone who is already successful. The key here is feeling. Your feelings are the secret to your power. They are the language of the subconscious mind, the fuel that powers your manifestations. When you can genuinely feel as though your desire is fulfilled, when you can maintain that feeling regardless of your outer circumstances, you have mastered the art of creation. Now I can hear some of you thinking, but Neville, this sounds like self-deception. Aren't we just fooling ourselves? And to that I say emphatically no. You are not deceiving yourself. You are aligning yourself with a higher truth, a deeper reality. You see, my dear friends, time is an illusion. The future you desire already exists in the infinite now of imagination. When you enter into the silence and live from the end, you are not creating something new. You are simply choosing to experience a reality that already exists. Think of it like this. I imagine you are in a dark room and there's a light switch on the wall. The electricity, the potential for light is already there. It exists whether the switch is on or off. When you flip the switch, you're not creating the light. You're simply choosing to experience it. In the same way, when you live from the end in your imagination, you're not creating your desire. You're choosing to experience it, to align yourself with it. This is why being silent is so crucial. When you constantly talk about what you want, when you focus on the lack of it in your life, you're essentially keeping the light switch off. You're choosing to experience the reality of not having. But when you go into the silence, when you live from the end and feel the joy of your desire fulfilled, you're flipping that switch. You're choosing to experience the reality where your desire is already manifest. Now I want to address something that many of you may be struggling with. You might be thinking, but Neville, I've tried this. I've imagined my desire fulfilled. I've tried to feel it real, but nothing has changed. What am I doing wrong? My dear friends, if this is you, I want you to know that you're not alone. Many people struggle with this at first. The key lies in persistence and in truly understanding what it means to live from the fan. You see, living from the end is not about visualizing your desire for a few minutes each day and then returning to your old patterns of thinking and being. It's about a fundamental shift in your self-concept. It's about becoming, in your imagination and in your feeling, the person who already has what you desire. This takes practice, it's dedication. It takes a willingness to challenge your old beliefs and patterns of thinking. But most of all, it takes faith. Faith not in some external power, but in the creative power of your own imagination. Remember, your imagination is not separate from reality. It is the very substance of reality. The world you see around you was once only imagined. Every invention, every work of art, every human achievement began as a seed in someone's imagination. Your desires are no different. They are the seeds of your future reality, waiting to be planted in the fertile soil of your imagination and nurtured in the silence of your being. So if you've been struggling, I urge you not to give up. Return to the silence. Go deeper into the feeling of your desire fulfilled. Make it more real, more vivid, more alive within you. And most importantly, persist. Persist in the face of every contrary appearance in your outer world. For it is your persistence, your unwavering faith in the reality of your amadat that will ultimately bring it into manifestation. Now let's talk about another crucial aspect of this process, detachment. When I say be silent, anything that you wish will happen, the silence I'm referring to also includes a detachment from the how and when of your manifestation. You see, many people make the mistake of trying to control every aspect of their manifestation. They imagine their desire fulfilled, but then they start worrying about how it will come about. They start trying to manipulate people and circumstances to bring about their desire. But this is a form of doubt. It's a lack of faith in the power of your imaginal act. True silence, true faith means letting go of the need to control. It means trusting that the same intelligence that keeps your heart beating, that grows your hair and nails, that maintains the perfect balance of life on this planet, is more than capable of bringing your desire into manifestation in the perfect way and at the perfect time. This detachment is not indifference. It's not about not caring whether your desire manifests or not. Rather, it's about being so certain of its manifestation that you no longer feel the need to manipulate or control. It's about resting in the absolute knowing that what you have experienced in your imagination is more real than anything in your outer world, and that your outer world must by law conform to this inner reality. Let me give you an example to illustrate this point. Imagine you've ordered a package online. Once you've placed the order, do you sit by your mailbox day and night, worrying about whether the package will arrive? Do you call the shipping company every hour to check on its status? Of course not. You trust that the package is on its way. You go about your life knowing that it will arrive at the perfect time. This is the kind of detachment I'm talking about. Once you've placed your order with the universe by living from the end in your imagination, let it churn. Trust that it's on its way. Go about your life from the state of consciousness of someone who already has what they desire. Now, this doesn't mean you become passive. You still take inspired action when it presents itself. But this action comes from a place of being, not from a place of lack or need. It's the natural expression of the new you, the you that is living from the end. Let's delve deeper into this concept of inspired action. When you're truly living from the end, when you fully embody the state of consciousness of having your desire fulfilled, you'll find that opportunities and inspirations naturally come to you. These are not actions you force or plan. They arise spontaneously from your new state of being. For instance, if you're living from the end of being financially abundant, you might suddenly feel inspired to start a new business venture. If you're living from the end of being in a loving relationship, you might feel moved to join a new social group where you'll meet like-minded people. These inspirations are your new state of consciousness expressing itself in your outer world. The key is to follow these inspirations without attachment to the outcome. You're not taking these actions to make your desire happen. You're taking them because they're the natural expression of who you now are in your imagination. This brings us to another important point, the role of action in this process. Some people misunderstand the principle of living from the end and think it means they should do nothing in their outer world. They believe that if they just imagine enough, their desire will magically appear without any effort on their part. But this is not what living from the end means. Living from the end doesn't negate action, it informs action. When you're truly living from the end, your actions naturally align with your desired state. You begin to act like the person who already has what you desire. If you're living from the end of being a successful author, for example, if you'll sit around waiting for a book to magically appear with your name on it, you write, you edit, you submit your work to publishers, but you do all of this from the state of consciousness of already being a successful author. You're not writing to become an author, you're writing because you are an author. This subtle shift in consciousness makes all the difference. It takes the struggle out of your actions. It aligns you with opportunities that support your new state of being. It allows you to act with confidence and certainty, knowing that you're not working towards your desire, but from your desire already fulfilled. Now, I want to address something that many of you may be grappling with. You might be thinking, but Neville, what about the evidence of my senses? How can I live from the end when everything in my outer world tells me that my desire is not yet fulfilled? This, my dear friends, is where faith comes in. Not blind faith, not wishful thinking, not faith, but faith based on understanding. Understanding that your senses show you the world that was, not the world that is becoming. Understanding that your imagination is the true substance of reality, and that what you see in your outer world is simply the shadow cast by your inner states. Your senses are wonderful servants, but they make poor masters. They can only show you what has been, what has already manifested. But your imagination shows you what can be, what is in the process of becoming. When you live from the end, when you experience your desire as fulfilled in your imagination, You are seeing with the eye of faith. You are perceiving a reality that your physical senses cannot yet detect, but which is nonetheless real and in the process of manifesting. This is why silence is so crucial. In the silence of your imagination, you are free from the limitations imposed by your senses. You are free to experience your desire as fulfilled, regardless of what your outer world is showing you. But make no mistake, this is not about denying your current reality or pretending that things are different than they are. It's about understanding that your current reality is the result of past thoughts and beliefs, and that by changing your inner state, you set in motion the forces that will change your outer world. Think of it like this. Your outer world is like a mirror, reflecting back to you your innermost thoughts and beliefs. When you change what's being reflected, your inner state, the reflection must change. It has no choice. This is law. So when your senses tell you that your desire is not yet fulfilled, don't argue with them. Don't try to convince yourself that what you're seeing isn't real. Instead, thank your senses for showing you what has been, and then return to the silence of your imagination where you can experience what will be. This is the true meaning of faith. It's not about believing despite evidence to the contrary. It's about knowing that the evidence of your imagination is more real, more substantial than anything your physical senses can show you. Now let's talk about something that many of you may be struggling with, the concept of time in relation to your manifestations. When I say be silent anything that you wish will happen, many of you might be wondering, but when will it happen? How long do I have to wait? My dear friends, these questions, while natural, come from a misunderstanding of the nature of time and manifestation. You see, in the realm of imagination, there is no time. There is only the eternal now. When you truly live from the end, when you fully embody the state of your desire fulfilled, you're not waiting for anything to happen. It has already happened in the only place it ever could happen, in your consciousness. The appearance of your desire in your outer world is not the manifestation. It's merely the shadow, the outer reflection of what has already occurred within you. The true manifestation, the real creation, happens the moment you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and believe in its reality. From this perspective, there is no waiting. There is only being. Being the person who already has what you desire. Living from that state of consciousness. Allowing your outer world to catch up with your inner knowing. This is why patience is so important in this process. Not the kind of patience that comes from gritting your teeth and enduring until something happens, but the patience that comes from absolute knowing. The kind of patience you have when you've planted a seed. You don't stand over it, demanding that it grow faster. You trust in the natural process of growth, knowing that in its own perfect timing, the seed will sprout and grow into a magnificent plant. Your desires are like that seed. Once planted in the fertile soil of your imagination and nurtured with the feeling of their fulfillment, they will manifest in your outer world in their own perfect timing. Your job is not to make them grow faster, but to maintain the state of consciousness of already having them. This brings us to another important point, the concept of revision. Sometimes, despite our best efforts to live from the end, we find ourselves slipping back into old patterns of thinking and being. We might have moments of doubt, or we might react to our current circumstances in ways that contradict our desired state. When this happens, it's crucial not to berate yourself or to see it as a failure. Instead, use the power of revision. At the end of each day, review the events of your day in your imagination. If there were any moments where you reacted from a state of lack or limitation, revise them. See yourself responding from the state of your wish fulfilled. Feel how you would have felt, thought how you would have thought, if your desire was already manifest. This practice of revision serves two purposes. First, it reinforces your desired state of consciousness, helping you to more consistently live from the instinct. Second, it literally rewrites your subconscious memories. Remember, your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between what you vividly imagine and what you actually experience. By revising your day in your imagination, you're literally changing your past, and in doing so, changing the trajectory of future. Now, I want to address something that many of you may be concerned about. You might be thinking, but Neville, isn't this selfish? Shouldn't I be focusing on helping others rather than manifesting my own desires? My dear friends, this is a common misconception, but it couldn't be further from the truth. You see, when you live from the end, when you embody the state of consciousness of your desire fulfilled, you become more, not less. You expand your capacity to give, to love, to serve. Think about it. If your desire is for financial abundance and you successfully manifest that abundance, aren't you in a better position to help others? If your desire is for radiant health and you manifest that health, aren't you better able to care for those around you? If your desire is for a fulfilling relationship and you manifest that relationship, don't you have more love to share with the world? You see, manifesting your desires is not about greed or selfishness. It's about becoming the fullest, most expanded version of yourself. It's about aligning yourself with the abundance of the universe so that you can be a channel for that abundance to flow to others. Moreover, when you master this principle of living from the end, you gain the ability to help others in profound ways. You can teach them this principle, showing them how to transform their own lives. You become a living example of what's possible when one aligns themselves with the creative power of their imagination. So never feel guilty about focusing on your desires. Your desires are not random. They are the universe speaking to you, showing you the direction of your growth and expansion. By fulfilling your desires, you are fulfilling your purpose, becoming more of who you truly are. And in doing so, you naturally uplift those around you. Now, as we near the end of our time together, I want to leave you with a challenge. For the next 30 days, I want you to commit to living from the end of your most cherished desire. Choose one desire, the one that resonates most deeply with you, and for the next 30 days, live as though it were already fulfilled. Each night before you go to sleep, enter into the silence of your imagination. See yourself in the scenario of your desire fulfilled. Feel the feelings you would feel if your desire were already manifest. Experience it with all your senses. Make it as real and as vivid as you possibly can. Then carry that feeling with you throughout your day. No matter what your outer circumstances show you, maintain the inner knowing that your desire is already yours. Be silent about it. Don't speak of it as something you want or need. Live from the state of already having it. If you find yourself slipping back into old patterns of thinking or being, don't berate yourself. Simply revise those moments in your imagination. See yourself responding from the state of a wish fulfilled. At the end of these 30 days, you will be amazed at the changes that have occurred, not just in your outer world, but in your inner world as well. You will have developed a new habit of consciousness, a new way of being in the world. Remember, my dear friends, you are not bound by your past or by your current circumstances. You are bound only by your imagination and your willingness to live from the state of your wish fulfilled. The power to change your life, to manifest your heart's desires, lies within you. It always has, and it always will. In this grand theater of life, we are all actors playing our parts in the divine drama. Yet how many of us truly understand the power we possess to shape our reality? How often do we allow the voice of reason to overshadow the whispers of our imagination? Tonight we shall unravel these mysteries and awaken to the truth that lies dormant within each of us. Let us begin by understanding the nature of belief. Belief, my dear friends, is not merely a mental assent to an idea. It is a state of consciousness, a feeling of certainty that transcends the limitations of our physical senses. When you truly believe something, you do not need external evidence to support it. Your belief becomes the evidence. Now you might wonder, Neville, how can I believe something when all reason and logic seem to deny its possibility? This is where the magic lies. You see, reason is but a servant of your assumptions. It faithfully presents you with evidence that supports your current beliefs. But what if I told you that you have the power to change those beliefs, and in doing so transform your entire world? Consider for a moment the story of the Wright brothers. When they claimed that man could fly, reason denied it. Logic scoffed at the very idea, yet their unwavering belief in the possibility of flight led to one of the greatest technological revolutions in human history. They chose to believe it, even when reason denied it. So how do we cultivate this power of belief? The first step, my friends, is to recognize that you imagine our stability. Your imagination is not some fanciful faculty for daydreaming. It is the creative power of God within you. When you imagine, you are literally shaping the substance of reality. To believe it when reason denies, You must learn to live from the end. This means assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled here and now, regardless of what your physical senses tell you. If you desire financial abundance, you must feel the relief, the security, the joy that comes with having plenty, even if your bank account says otherwise. If you long for perfect health, you must embody the vitality, the energy, the wholeness of a perfectly healthy being, even if your body currently shows symptoms of illness. This practice of living from the end is not about denying your current reality. It's about choosing which reality you wish to experience. You see, every possible version of you already exists in the infinite sea of consciousness. By assuming the feeling of your desired state, you are tuning into a view that innovation, making it your present reality. Now I can hear some of you thinking, but Neville, this goes against everything I've been taught. How can I possibly believe something that contradicts all evidence? My dear friends, let me remind you that what you call evidence is nothing more than the outpicturing of your past assumptions. Change your assumptions and you change the evidence. To illustrate this point, let me share with you a personal experience. Years ago, I found myself in New York, broken out of work. Reason told me that I should be worried, that I should frantically search for any job I could find. But instead, I chose to live from the end. I imagined myself back in my home in Barbados, successful and financially secure. I felt the joy of being there, the warmth of the sun on my skin, the comfort of my own bed. I lived in this state day and night, despite all contrary evidence. Within a week, I received a letter from my brother inviting me back to Barbados and offering me a well-paying job. Reason would say this was mere coincidence, but I know it to be the natural outcome of living from the end, of believing it when reason denied it. You see, my friends, the world is not outside of you. The world is your consciousness pushed out. Everything you perceive is a reflection of your own mental states. When you change your mental state, when you dare to believe in the face of contrary evidence, you set in motion forces beyond your current understanding. These forces work tirelessly to bring about the conditions that match your new assumption. But how, you might ask, do we maintain this belief when everything around us seems to contradict it? The key lies in persistence. You must persist in your assumption, regardless of what your senses tell you. This persistence is not a matter of willpower or positive thinking. It is a matter of feeling, of experiencing your desire as an already accomplished fact. Imagine for a moment that you are an actor in a play. In this play, you are portraying a character who has everything you desire in your life. How would this character think? How would they feel? How would they carry themselves? Now, immerse yourself fully in this role. Live from it. Breathe it. Become it. This is what it means to persist in your assumption. As you persist in this new state of consciousness, you may find that doubts arise. Reason may whisper in your ear, telling you that you're being foolish, that you're denying reality. When this happens, do not fight against these thoughts. Simply observe them, acknowledge them, and then gently return to your desired state. Remember, these doubts are merely the dying gasps of your old concept of self. They have no power unless you give them power. Now let us delve deeper into the mechanics of belief. Your beliefs, my dear friends, are not just thoughts in your head. They are vibrational frequencies that you emit into the universe. Everything in this universe is energy vibrating at different frequencies. Your beliefs determine the frequency at which you vibrate. And like attracts like. When you truly believe in something, you align yourself with the frequency of that thing, drawing it into your experience. That's why it's crucial to guard your mental diet. The thoughts you entertain, the conversations you engage in, the media you consume, all of these influence your vibrational frequency. To be with it when reason denies it is, you must be vigilant about what you allow into your consciousness. Surround yourself with ideas, people, and experiences that support your desired state. Let me share with you another powerful technique for cultivating belief in the face of contrary evidence. It's called the lullaby method. As you lie in bed each night, repeating to yourself a short, concise statement that implies your desire is already fulfilled. For example, if you desire financial abundance, you might repeat, I am so grateful to be financially free. If you long for a loving relationship, your lullaby might be, I am loved and cherished by my perfect partner. As you repeat these words, feel the truth of them. Allow the feeling to permeate every cell of your being. Fall asleep in this state, knowing that your subconscious mind, which knows no limitations, is working throughout the night to align your outer world with this inner truth. Remember, my friends, your subconscious mind does not discriminate between what is real and what is imagined. It simply accepts what you impress upon it as truth and works tirelessly to bring it into manifestation. By falling asleep in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are programming your subconscious to create that reality. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, what about action? Don't we need to do something to bring about our desires? To this, I say, inspired action will naturally flow from your new state of consciousness. When you truly believe in something, when you live from the end, you will find yourself naturally taking the steps that lead to its manifestation. These actions will not feel like hard work or struggle. They will feel natural, even effortless, because they are in alignment with your new state of being. You will find doors opening, opportunities presenting themselves, as if by magic. But remember, this magic is simply the natural result of your alignment with the frequency of your desire. Let us now address another common obstacle to belief, the opinions of others. Often, when we share our dreams and aspirations, we are met with skepticism, even ridicule from those around us. Reason speaking through the mouths of well-meaning friends and family may tell us to be realistic with our feet on the ground. My dear friends, understand this. The opinions of others have no power over you unless you give them power. Their words are simply a reflection of their own beliefs and limitations. You are not bound by their perception of what is possible. You have the power to choose which voices you listen to, which realities you align with. In fact, the doubts and skepticism of others can serve as a powerful catalyst for strengthening your own belief. When faced with opposition, reaffirm your commitment to your desired state. Use that doubt as a springboard to dive even deeper into the feeling of your wish fulfilled. For in doing so, you are not only transforming your own reality, but also expanding the realm of possibility for all those around you. Remember the words of the great William Blake, what is now proved was once only imagined. Every great advancement in human history, every innovation, every work of art, began as a thought, an idea that reason initially denied. The inventors, the artists, the visionaries of our world are those who dared to believe it when reason did not. You, my dear listeners, are no different from these great minds. You possess the same creative power, the same ability to shape reality through your imagination. The only difference lies in your willingness to use this power to believe in the face of all contrary evidence. Now let us explore another powerful tool for cultivating belief, the art of revision. Each night before you sleep, take a few moments to review the events of your day. But do not review them as they occurred. Instead, revise them. See them playing out exactly as you would have wished them to be. If you had a challenging interaction with someone, replay that scene in your mind's eye, but this time see it unfolding harmoniously. If you faced a setback in your goals, revise it to a stepping stone towards success. Whatever circumstances you wish to change them first in your imagination. This practice of revision serves two powerful purposes. First, it impresses upon your subconscious mind new patterns of experience, which it then works to manifest in your outer world. Second, it strengthens your ability to choose your mental states, to believe in your desired reality regardless of current circumstances. As you consistently practice revision, you will find that your outer world begins to conform more and more to your revised inner experiences. You are literally rewriting your past, and in doing so, reshaping your present and future. Now, my friends, I want to address a question that often arises when discussing these principles. Many ask, but Neville, isn't this just a form of self-deception? Aren't we fooling ourselves by believing something that isn't true? To this I say, truth is not something external to you. Truth is not determined by your current circumstances or by the opinions of others. Truth is what you choose to as real in your imagination. When you accept something as true in your imagination, when you live from that state with unwavering faith, it must become true in the outer world. This is the law of your being. Consider for a moment the placebo effect. Medical science has long recognized that patients often experience real physiological changes simply because they believe they are receiving effective treatment. Their belief, their assumption of health, creates actual healing in their bodies. Is this self-deception? Or is it a demonstration of the incredible power of belief to shape our reality? You see, my dear friends, what you call reality is far more malleable than you have been led to believe. It is not a fixed, external thing, but a fluid reflection of your own consciousness. When you truly grasp this truth, when you begin to live from it, you will find that nothing is impossible to you. But believing it when reason denies it requires courage. It requires a willingness to step out of your comfort zone, to challenge your long-held assumptions about what is possible. It requires faith, not blind faith, but faith born of understanding the true nature of reality and your place within it. This faith is not something you need to acquire. It is already within you. It is your natural state. The doubt, the skepticism, the belief in limitations, these are the acquired conditions. They are the result of your education, your upbringing, your past experiences. But they are not you. They are not the truth of your being. To reclaim your natural state of faith, of limited belief, you must be willing to question everything you think you know. You must be willing to entertain possibilities that your rational mind may initially reject. For it is in this space of openness, of willingness to believe, that miracles occur. Imagine for a moment that you are a prisoner in a cell. For years you have lived within the confines of this cell, believing it to be the extent of your world. Then one day someone tells you that the door has always been unlocked. Would you immediately rush to open it? Or would you hesitate, held back by your long-held belief in your imprisonment? This, my friends, is the situation many of us find ourselves in. We are prisoners of our own limiting beliefs, held captive by our acceptance of what reason tells us is possible. But the door has always been unlocked. The power to step into a new reality, a reality aligned with our deepest desires, has always been within us. To believe it when reason denies it is to reach for that door handle. It is to take that step into the unknown, fueled by the certainty that what you have imagined must come to pass. It is to live from the state of your wish fulfilled, even when all external evidence seems to contradict it. As you practice this, as you cultivate the art of believing, you will begin to notice changes in your outer world. These changes may be subtle at first. A shift in someone's attitude towards you, an unexpected opportunity, a solution to a problem that had seemed insurmountable. Acknowledge these changes, no matter how small, with gratitude, for they are confirmation that your new assumption is taking root, that your beliefs reshaping your reality. And as you notice these changes, let them fuel your faith. Let them strengthen your conviction that what you have imagined must come to pass. For this is the law of your being. What you believe and feel as true must objectify itself in your world. Now, my dear friends, as we near the conclusion of our discussion, I want to emphasize a crucial point. The practice of believing when reason denies, it is not a one-time event. It is not a technique to be used only when you desire something specific. It is a way of life. It is a constant choosing of which states of consciousness you wish to occupy. Every moment of every day you are faced with a choice. Will you accept the limitations that reason and your senses present to you? Or will you choose to live from the state of your filled desires? Will you allow your past to dictate your future? Or will you claim your power as a creative being, shaping your reality through the power of your imagination? The choice is always yours, and it is a choice you must make moment by moment, day by day. For in every moment, you are either strengthening your belief in limitation or expanding into the infinite possibilities that are your birthright. As you go forth from this place, carrying this knowledge with you, I urge you to be bold in your imagining. Dare to believe in the seemingly impossible. Dare to live from the state of your wish fulfilled, especially when reason is possibility. For you are not bound by reason. You are not limited by your current circumstances. You are a divine being possessing within you the very power that creates worlds. Your imagination is God in action. When you imagine and believe, you are fulfilling your highest purpose as a co-creator with the divine. So believe, my friends. Believe with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your being. Believe in the face of all contrary evidence. Believe when reason screams its denial. Believe and watch in awe as your world transforms to match your belief. For in the end, it is not reason that shapes our lives. It is our beliefs, our assumptions, our chosen states of consciousness. Choose wisely, choose lovingly, and above all, choose to believe in the boundless possibilities that await you. As we conclude, I invite you to take a moment now to feel the truth of your desired state. Close your eyes if you wish, and allow yourself to sink deeply into the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Feel the gratitude, the joy, the love that accompanies this state. Carry this feeling with you as you leave this place. Let it inform your every interaction, your every decision. For in doing so, you are living as the person you desire to be, and your outer world must conform to this inner truth. Go forth, my friends, in the knowledge that you are divine, you are powerful beyond measure, that you have within you the ability to reshape your entire world. Use this power wisely, use it lovingly, and watch in awe as your life transforms into a living testament of the boundless possibilities that await those who dare to believe, even when reason denies it. Thank you, and may your imagination guide you to the fulfillment of your deepest desires. Remember to believe is the key, not the other way around. Believe it, life from it, and it must be. That is the law. That is the promise. That is the truth of your being. Embrace it, embody it, and watch your world transform before your very eyes. Let me begin by telling you that your consciousness is the only reality. Everything you perceive in your external world is nothing more than the outpicturing of your internal states. When I say 3 days, I speak not of terrestrial time, but of states of consciousness that you must pass through. The first day represents your awakening to the truth that your imagination creates reality. The second day is the Sabbath, where you rest in the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled. The third day is the resurrection, where your desire manifests in the external world. Consider the story in Scripture where Jesus said he would rebuild the temple in 3 days. The people thought he spoke of the physical temple, but he spoke of the temple of consciousness. You see, every desire you hold is already fulfilled in a dimension of consciousness, waiting for you to enter that state. Let me share with you the exact process. When you desire something, you must first know that it already exists in what I call the fourth dimension, the dimension of imagination. Your task is not to create it, for it already exists. Your task is to occupy the state of consciousness where this desire is already fulfilled. Now, many of you have tried visualization before, but you've done it from a place of wanting, of needing, of lacking. This is why it hasn't worked. You must visualize from a place of already having. This is the secret of the 3-day manifestation. The natural unfoldment of your manifestation during these 3 days operates according to what I call the law of least action. Your outer world will reorganize itself in the most natural and effortless way to match your inner assumption. But you must allow this reorganization without interfering with the how. Many of you try to dictate the manner in which your desire should manifest. This is a fundamental error. During these 3 days, your only concern should be maintaining the feeling of your wish fulfilled. The bridge of incidents, the series of events that will lead to your manifestation, will build itself. Think of a seed planted in the ground. It doesn't strain or struggle to become a tree. It doesn't try to push through the soil. It simply contains within itself the pattern of its full expression, and nature automatically provides the means for its growth. Your consciousness works in exactly the same way. During these 3 days, you must be like that seed, confident in the pattern of fulfillment that you contain within your consciousness. Your imaginal act, when properly performed with feeling and conviction, contains within itself everything needed for its manifestation. Let me share with you a principle that few understand. The state of consciousness that you assume during these 3 days must be maintained without effort. If you're straining to maintain your state, you're doing it wrong. When you truly assume a state, it feels natural and effortless. Consider how effortlessly you maintain the awareness of being who you currently believe yourself to be. You don't wake up each morning and struggle to remember your name or your current circumstances. This is the same naturalness you must feel in your new state. Your manifestation will often come in ways you could never have planned or anticipated. This is why trying to plan the how is not only unnecessary, but can actually delay your manifestation. Your role during these 3 days is to maintain the end, the state of fulfillment, and let the law handle the means. Maintaining the end state during these 3 days requires a complete abandonment of your former concept of self. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot claim to be wealthy while simultaneously budgeting from a consciousness of lack. You cannot claim perfect health while planning around illness. This is where the real test of your understanding comes in. During these 3 days, you must completely abandon the old man, as Scripture calls it. The old man represents your former concept of self with all its limitations and doubts. You must die to that self completely. Let me share with you a profound truth. Your outer world will present you with every reason to return to your former state of consciousness. Friends will remind you of your past. Circumstances will seem to contradict your new assumption. Your own senses will deny your imaginal act. But during these 3 days, you must be like Daniel in the lion's den, completely unmoved by appearances. Your inner conviction must be stronger than all external evidence. This is not denial. This is understanding the true cause and effect relationship between consciousness and reality. Remember, what you are seeing now in your world is the effect of past assumptions. It has no power to prevent the expression of your new assumption, except the power you give it through your attention and belief. During these 3 days, you must give your attention solely to your new state. Your inner conversations during this period are crucial. When you talk to yourself, and you do it constantly, from what state are you talking? Are you talking from the state of having your desire fulfilled? Or are you talking from the state of wanting, hoping, trying to get? Every inner conversation must be from the consciousness of already being what you want to be. If you catch yourself in an inner conversation that contradicts your desired state, stop immediately and revise it. Your inner talking reveals your true state of consciousness. These inner conversations during the 3 days are the threads that weave the fabric of your reality. When you talk to yourself from the state of fulfillment, when your inner dialogue consistently supports your new state, you are literally birthing your new reality into existence. Let me give you a specific technique for monitoring your inner conversations during these 3 days. Imagine you have a faithful friend who follows you everywhere, listening to every word you say to yourself. Would this friend be convinced of your new state by your inner dialogue? Would they hear the conversations of someone who has what you desire, or someone who is still seeking it? You see, your subconscious mind is that faithful friend recording every inner conversation, every assumption, every feeling state. During these 3 days, you must feed it only the conversations that support your new state. If you desire wealth, your inner conversations must be those of a wealthy person. If you desire health, your inner dialogue must be from the state of perfect health. Consider the words of Scripture. Let the weak say, I'm strong. This is not about affirmations. It's about a complete transformation of your inner talking. During these 3 days, you must not only say you are what you desire to be, you must think from that state in your most private moments. Here's a crucial point that many miss. Your inner conversations must feel natural. If you're assuming wealth, don't have inner conversations about spending millions if that feels unnatural to you. Instead, have natural conversations that imply financial freedom. Perhaps you're telling a friend how wonderful it feels to be debt-free, or how satisfying it is to be able to help others financially. During these 3 days, watch your reactions when you're alone. When you read the news, when you see others' success, when you face challenges, what is your inner conversation? Your reactions reveal your true state of consciousness. If you react from the old state, revise immediately. Remember, these 3 days are not about duration, but about intensity of conviction. when your inner conversations consistently match your desired state, when your reactions automatically spring from your new state, when your private thoughts align with your assumption, that's when you've truly occupied your new state. Maintaining consistency in your new state during these 3 days requires what I call mental chemistry. Just as a chemist maintains the purity of their compounds, you must maintain the purity of your consciousness. Any thought, any feeling, any inner conversation that contradicts your new state must be immediately transmuted. Consider this. If you were to put a drop of ink in a glass of clear water, the entire glass becomes tinted. Your consciousness works the same way. One negative thought, one doubtful inner conversation, one fearful assumption can taint your entire mental atmosphere. This is why vigilance during these 3 days is crucial. Let me share with you a secret about maintaining this consistency. It's not about forcing yourself to think positive thoughts. It's about understanding so completely that your imagination creates reality, that any thought contrary to your desire becomes impossible to entertain. Think about this. Do you have to force yourself to believe that 2 plus 2 equals 4? Of course not. You understand it so completely that doubting it would be absurd. This is how your faith in your imaginal act must be during these 3 days. Your understanding must be so complete that when someone asks about your problem, you genuinely have to think to remember what they're talking about. This is not pretense. This is the result of fully occupying your new state of consciousness. During these 3 days, you must guard the mood of fulfillment. Moods are the fabric out of which your future is cut. If you maintain the mood of having what you desire, if you sleep in this mood, if you walk in this mood, if you live in this mood, your outer world must reshape itself to match this inner atmosphere. Here's a vital point about these 3 days. You must learn to distinguish between thinking of your desire and thinking from its fulfillment. When you think of something, you maintain the separation between yourself and your desire. When you think from it, you have embodied it in consciousness. Thinking from the end during these 3 days means that every thought, every action, every decision must spring from the consciousness of already being what you desire to be. This is not about pretending or acting. It's about completely inhabiting your new state. Let me explain this with absolute clarity. When you think from the end, you don't see your desire as something to be achieved in the future. You see it as an accomplished fact in the present. During these 3 days, there is no future tense in your consciousness regarding your desire. Consider how you think about your name. You don't hope to be your name. You don't affirm your name. You simply are your name. This is how natural your desired state must feel during these 3 days. You don't hope to be wealthy. You think, feel, and act from the consciousness of wealth. You don't anticipate perfect health. You think, feel, and act from the consciousness of perfect health. Here's a profound secret about these 3 days. They exist outside of time. In your imagination, where all creation takes place, there is no time. When you enter your imaginal scene, you enter a dimension where time does not exist. This is why your desire can manifest instantly when your consciousness is fully convinced. During these 3 days, you must learn to live in the end. Every morning when you wake, your first thoughts must be from the end. Every night when you sleep, your last thoughts must be from the end. Every moment in between must be lived from the consciousness of your wish fulfilled. Let me share with you a technique I call living backward. Instead of seeing your desire as something to move toward, see it as something from which you are living. Just as you remember your past, remember your desire as something that has already happened. Feel the satisfaction, the completion, the naturalness of it being done. Your entire mental activity during these 3 days must be subordinated to your new assumption. Every thought that doesn't contribute to the naturalness of your new state must be dismissed, not by force, but by your understanding that it has no power except the power you give it. The mental discipline required during these 3 days is not about forcing yourself to think certain thoughts. It's about understanding the laws so completely that disciplined thinking becomes natural. When you truly grasp that consciousness is the only reality, controlling your thoughts becomes as natural as controlling your steps when you walk. Let me share with you what I call the mental diet for these 3 days. Just as you wouldn't eat food that you know would poison your body, you must not consume thoughts that would poison your assumption. Every mental meal, every inner conversation, every imaginative act must nourish your new state of consciousness. During these 3 days, you must be aware that your 5 senses are giving you reports based on your past assumptions. They will try to tell you that your new state is not true. This is where most people falter. They trust their senses more than their imagination. But remember, your senses can only show you what has been. Your imagination shows you what can be. Here's a crucial point about these 3 days. You must learn to distinguish between the voice of your old state and the voice of your new state. The old state will speak to you of limitations, of past failures, of reasons why your desire cannot be fulfilled. The new state speaks with quiet confidence, with the calm assurance of present possession. Consider how a wealthy person thinks about money. They don't constantly think about money, they simply know it's there. This is how you must be during these 3 days. Don't constantly think about your desire. Live from the quiet assumption that it is already yours. Your mental discipline must extend to your emotional reactions. During these 3 days, you must react to every situation from your new state of consciousness. If something happens that would normally upset you, you must react from the consciousness of your wish fulfilled. This is not suppressing emotions, it's choosing which state of consciousness will generate your emotions. Let me share with you a powerful technique for maintaining this discipline. Throughout these 3 days, ask yourself this question. If my desire were already fulfilled, how would I react to this situation? Then react that way. Not as an act, but as a natural expression of your new state. Emotional mastery during these 3 days is crucial because your emotional reactions reveal your true state of consciousness. It's not what you say or do that matters most. It's how you feel. Your feelings are the secret speaking voice of your assumptions. Here's a profound truth about emotional mastery. You don't need to create new emotions. You need to occupy the state produces the emotions you desire. During these 3 days, if you're truly living in the state of your wish fulfilled, the appropriate emotions will flow naturally. Consider this. When you've actually achieved something, you don't need to generate feelings of achievement. The feeling comes naturally from the state of having achieved. This is how your emotions should be during these 3 days. Natural, effortless, flowing from your assumed state. Let me share with you what I call the feeling tone of fulfillment. Every state has its own feeling tone, its own emotional frequency. During these 3 days, you must become so familiar with the feeling tone of your fulfilled desire that you can return to it instantly as you can recall a familiar melody. Your emotional life during these 3 days must be consistent with having your desire fulfilled. If you're assuming wealth, you can't feel the anxiety of lack. If you're assuming perfect health, you can't feel the fear of illness. Your emotional reactions must automatically spring from your new state. Here's a secret about emotional mastery. Emotions follow thought. During these 3 days, if you find yourself experiencing unwanted emotions, don't fight them. Instead, change the thought that's producing them. Change your inner conversation, and your emotions will change automatically. Remember, during these 3 days, you're not trying to create something new. You're stepping into a state where your desire is already fulfilled. The emotions appropriate to that state are already there, waiting for you to embody them. You don't need to manufacture them. You need to assume the state that naturally produces them. The feeling tone you must maintain during these 3 days is not one of excitement or anticipation. It's the calm, natural feeling of already being what you desire to be. This is a crucial distinction that many miss. They maintain the feeling of wanting their desire rather than the feeling of having it. Let me share with you the subtle but vital difference. When you genuinely have something, there's a quiet certainty about it. You don't walk around constantly thinking about having it. You simply know it's yours. This is the feeling tone you must capture and maintain during these 3 days. You think about how you feel about something you absolutely know to be true, like your name or where you live. There's no effort in maintaining that feeling of certainty. During these 3 days, your desired state must feel just as natural, just as effortless to maintain. Here's a profound secret about the feeling tone. It must be maintained even in your sleep. This is why your last thoughts before sleep are so crucial. During these 3 days, you must fall asleep in the consciousness of your wish fulfillers. Your subconscious mind works throughout the night to make your dominant feeling tone your new reality. The feeling tone I'm speaking of is not superficial emotion. It's a deep, underlying sense of knowing. During these 3 days, if someone were to question your assumption, it should feel as absurd as someone questioning whether you are who you know yourself to be. Consider this. When you're healthy, you don't walk around constantly affirming health. You simply feel healthy naturally. When you're wealthy, you don't constantly think about being wealthy. You simply feel financially secure naturally. This is the kind of natural feeling tone you must maintain. Your feeling tone during these 3 days must be so consistent that it becomes your default state. When challenges arise, when circumstances seem to contradict your assumption, your feeling tone of fulfillment must remain undisturbed, like the depths of the ocean remaining calm despite surface storms. Maintaining undisturbed consciousness during these 3 days is your final and most important task. Like a deep lake that remains unmoved by surface winds, your consciousness must remain stable in your assumed state, regardless of external circumstances. Remember this final truth. These 3 days are not measured by the clock, by the depth and consistency of your consciousness. When you can maintain your new state without effort, when your feeling tone remains undisturbed by external events, when your inner conversations naturally flow from your fulfilled desire, then you have truly completed your 3 days. The law is your servant, but you must remain faithful to your assumption until it hardens into fact. Like Neville's story of Abdullah telling him you are in Barbados, you must persist until your desired state feels more real than any contrary evidence. Your 3 days are complete when you no longer have to remind yourself of your desire's fulfillment, when you simply are what you desire to be. At this point, manifestation is not just possible, it is inevitable. Let me leave you with this final wisdom. The power that you seek is already within you. These 3 days are not about creating something new. They are about awakening to what already is. Your desire is already fulfilled in consciousness. Your task is simply to occupy that state until it becomes your physical reality. Trust in the law, maintain your assumption, and watch as your world reshapes itself to match your new state of consciousness. For consciousness is the only reality, and what you are conscious of being, you must become. Thank you for your attention, and remember, the same power that created the universe lies within you, waiting to be acknowledged and expressed through your consciousness.